humid night in Tampa Bay as the Phoenix Rising make one of their longest road trips of the season to the Sunshine State to visit a Tampa Bay Rowdies team that has finally found some identity after just one win in their first 13 games. Phoenix is looking to break a 3-game winless skid in a tightly packed Western Conference, just 2 points above the playoff line, yet only 3 points away from a home playoff game. Alongside me is Mahir Sinhasan. I'm Sammy O'Brien. We'll be with you all night long from the bunker in Phoenix. And Mahir, Phoenix, not what they've been looking for over the last few weeks. As the summer window and the traveling window comes to a close, it kind of feels like tonight the stakes are even higher than they should be.
I mean, taking a look at Phoenix Rising's stretch ever since that mental health break in late July, Sammy, it seems like Phoenix Rising has kind of dissipated from the energy we saw in May and June. Had that 4-1 loss against Orange County, had to fight back to get a draw at home against a Birmingham Legion side that's on the outside looking in the Eastern Conference, and then losing for the second time this season to Lexington SC. This is a team that needs to try to put some wheels going forward, especially from the offensive side. It seems like sometimes the defense really wants to show out and the offense is really struggling. That's something we saw to some extent in Lexington last Saturday. It wasn't really the case, though. The defense really struggled towards the back half, and Pamadou Ka really talked about how it was just a disappointing stretch overall and a disappointing game in Kentucky as well. It wasn't Phoenix Rising football, and it's something that needs to change tonight.
We hear, and also something needs to change tonight. Tonight is a prime opportunity, you think, tonight?
Yeah, I would
Phoenix?
definitely say so. I mean, taking a look at a Tampa Bay Rowdies side that, again, is at the bottom of the Eastern Conference, hasn't had much going for them, coming in after a loss 2-1 to North Carolina FC. The 2 goals they conceded, similar to Rising, it was based off simple mistakes that could easily be fixed. And you wonder at times, especially knowing that soccer is a game that depends on mistakes, especially in the big moments and in the big plays, you wonder which team is going to be the most disciplined tonight to really stick to their guns and try to go forward in that attack and try to get some 3 points, especially knowing that both teams are on the outside, or rather Tampa's on the outside looking in. Phoenix is right near that playoff line. You've got Lexington and Monterey just 2 points behind you on the outside looking in, trying to push you out of that top 8. Again, there's a lot of different motives for each team, but I think for Tampa and Phoenix, both of them is just to keep it simple.
Yeah, so we'll take a look at the Phoenix Rising starting lineup if you're following us on our X and Facebook pages. It'll be Patrick Rakowski back in net, got the week off last week. Then it'll be Daniel Flores, his second appearance for Phoenix and his first start in Rising Red. Then it'll be Carl-Fred Sate wearing the captain's armband tonight. Then it'll be Asela Asenge, and then the 18-year-old Pierce Rizzo gets another start at that right back position, a non-natural right back for him. That'll be Hope Avevu on the right side, JP Skierce in the middle, and Noble Okello out wide on the right side, kind of more familiarity in that midfield. Then it'll be Damian Rivera out on the left wing, then Darius Johnson out on the right wing, and it'll be the 9, Isan Nino Sako, the Frenchman, up the middle for Phoenix. Mahir, your player to watch tonight for Phoenix, Hope Avevu.
Yeah, again, taking a look at that Lexington match, Phoenix Rising really struggled to push the pace forward. It seemed like their lines were getting a little bit disjointed at times, especially in the back and in the midfield. When you have a guy like Hope, he can thread the balls forward and really push the line to where the midfield needs to be. Instead of it being a low block, which we saw from Phoenix Rising a lot on Saturday, this can be a team that can really press forward on the counterattack, because even though the forwards did do a lot of work on Saturday, they weren't able to generate those true chances because Sako, Dennis, and sometimes some others were really pushing to try to set that pace. With Hope, you can have your midfield going forward, and again, a guy that's tied in assists, or rather leading the league in assists this year, he needs to be that guy to push forward.
We'll take a quick look at the Tampa Bay Rowdies lineup, the home team tonight. It'll be Bodily over on the left side. Then it'll be Guillen, the captain. Then it'll be Forrest Lasso making a return to the lineup. Then Robert Castellanos, and then over on the right back side, it'll be Nick Moon. Then in the midfield, it'll be Danny Crisostomo, followed by Thomas Von Kazil, and then on the right side it'll be Juan Carlos Azucar, former Phoenix Rising man. Then up top, front 2, it'll be Ollie Bassett, followed up with the Canadian, the superstar Wubens Pasillas.
Yeah, and I mean,
your player to watch tonight is Pasillas.
Yeah, taking a look at Pasillas again, Phoenix Rising. This is only their 6th match this year. facing a 2-forward system. In every match they've played in a 2-forward system, on average they've conceded over 2 goals, which is kind of customary to what we've seen from Phoenix Rising. But you take a look at a guy like Pasillas, he's been able to win those balls deep in the final third, trying to get those threaded runs through. And because he's in a 2-forward system, he's very good at passing. He was linking up really well with Luis Alvarez last week, and it's a similar situation with Ollie Bassett today. 2 guys that really want to play off of each other, try to cross the ball in. One of them's going to be cutting towards the 18, one of them's going to be in the 18 extended, and those guys are really going to be pushing and threading Phoenix Rising at times tonight.
Yeah, well, thank you for that, Mihir. We'll take a quick break here on the Rising Radio pregame warm-up show here on the Phoenix Rising Radio Network. We'll have keys to the game and kickoff right after this.
Hey Phoenix Rising fans, this is Discount Tire, your hometown tire retailer and trusted partner on the road for over 65 years. We know it can be overwhelming when buying tires, but we're here to help. Our online tire buying guide, Treadwell, makes finding the right tires simple. Just plug in your vehicle, location, and driving habits, and Treadwell will give you unbiased, personalized recommendations based on your needs, not based on price. Inviting, easy, and safe. Just how tire buying should be. Shop tires with Treadwell at discounttire.com. Let's get you taken care of.
Hi, I'm Peyton Manning, and I'm partnering with the American Red Cross this year to tackle blood shortages. Giving blood's important because every 2 seconds, someone actually needs blood, and unfortunately, only like 3% of the U.S. population donates. So we have to step up to give and to make sure there's plenty of blood available for those in need. Visit redcrossblood.org to get in the game and make an appointment to give.
Join in on the Sports Zoo on your ride home from work with Dave Rooster Bierstein. Join Rooster as he lays down what's happening around sports and makes it clear what's on his mind.
Oh my.
Catch the day's craziest stories and some of the latest numbers from the sports books across the valley. The Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Bierstein.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a wild option.
Weekdays 5 to 6 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Hey, hon, what you doing with your phone? Taking pictures?
No, I'm asking it questions.
Like what?
Hey, Bobo, do flowers have best friends?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, follow me. I want to show you something. Look, flowers do have best friends.
Whoa.
Some answers can only be found in nature. Discover the unsearchable. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a trail near you. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Suzuchuku's in. Arteaga! You're listening to Rising Radio, home of the 2023 USL champions. Bliss and a burst of red smoke. Phoenix Rising, our home. Welcome to 38th and Washington. Stick around for more as our broadcast continues.
We're the Goo Goo Dolls. We're fortunate that our daughters have what they need to grow and learn. But that isn't the case for nearly 13 million kids in the U.S. that struggle with hunger.
Childhood hunger is a heartbreaking reality that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste and provides it to families and children in need.
You can help kids in need in your community by visiting feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Hey Phoenix Rising fans, this is Discount Tire, your hometown tire retailer and trusted partner on the road for over 65 years. We know it can be overwhelming when buying tires, but we're here to help. Our online tire buying guide, Treadwell, makes finding the right tires simple. Just plug in your vehicle, location, and driving habits, and Treadwell will give you unbiased, personalized recommendations based on your needs, not based on price. Inviting, easy, and safe. Just how tire buying should be. Shop tires with Treadwell at discounttire.com. Let's get you taken care of.
You're listening to the Jim Rome Show.
Did the Mavericks raise ticket prices as soon as they saw Kyrie writhing on the floor in pain? Would not surprise me at all, given that's exactly what they did after they dealt Luka and before Kyrie went down. Never mind raising ticket prices. Now that Kyrie is lost for the year, why not just make it official and announce today that you're moving the franchise to Vegas? Trust me, nobody would be surprised.
James Out West, your home for sports down here in the desert. Join James and Pat the Stat Guy as they recap the weekend and dive deep into the numbers for the NFL, NBA, college sports, and more.
That's 5 seasons of 1,200 yards.
Player stats, team numbers, and contracts are just the start of the discussion for James and Pat.
He started 815 career games. He threw 749 complete games.
There's no hiding when it comes to stats. It's James Out West every Monday night from 7 to 8 p.m. right here on KTUS AM 1060 and on the KTUS 1060 app. Each day at work just dragging on. Get your sports fix on the lunch break. Join Chris Schubert and producer Evan live as they give their local perspective on the world of sports. Baseball, football, and basketball. Everything has a home on their plate. It's the Lunch Break with Chris Schubert, live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060, on the KDUS 1060 app, and KDUS 1060 on YouTube.
The sun's shining, birds are singing, and all feels right in the world.
Until the season changes, and suddenly you lose your motivation to get out of bed. In fact, 1 in 5 people experience some form of depression, no matter the season or time of year.
At the American Psychiatric Association Foundation, our vision is to build a mentally healthy nation for all, because we want you to live your best life and be your best you all year round.
Please visit mentallyhealthynation.org to learn more.
What would you give for a child you loved? To make their wish come true? To help them fight a critical illness? Just imagine what you'd do. You see, wishes are so powerful, and you can make them real. They can give a child back their childhood, even change the way they feel. Every single one of us can make the stars align, because when we come together, hope and joy will shine. Wishes need stars like you. Visit Make-A-Wish at wish.org.
Suzuku's in. Arteaga! You're listening to Rising Radio, home of the 2023 USL champions. Bliss and a burst of red smoke. Phoenix Rising, our home. Welcome to 38th and Washington. Stick around for more as our broadcast continues.
Hey, hon, what you doing with your phone? Taking pictures?
No, I'm asking it questions.
Like what?
Hey, Bobo, do flowers have best friends?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, follow me. I want to show you something. Look, flowers do have best friends.
Whoa.
Some answers can only be found in nature. Discover the unsearchable. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a trail near you. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
The sun's shining, birds are singing, and all feels right in the world.
Until the season changes, and suddenly you lose your motivation to get out of bed. In fact, 1 in 5 people experience some form of depression, no matter the season or time of year.
At the American Psychiatric Association Foundation, our vision is to build a mentally healthy nation for all, because we want you to live your best life and be your best you all year round.
Please visit mentallyhealthynation.org to learn more.
Welcome back to the Rising Radio pregame warm-up show. Mahirson Hassan, Sammy O'Brien. We are currently in a lightning delay over in Tampa Bay as we sit here safe in the bunker in Phoenix. So in the meantime, Mahir, we talked about it briefly at the start with the table and just the overall situation that Phoenix has found themselves in. So let's take a look at the Western Conference table. Phoenix coming into this game in 7th place, really just 2 points below that playoff line, but also 3 points away from it being in 4th place, right around a home playoff game.
Yeah, I mean, that's the parity right now in the USL. And, I mean, that's one thing that Phoenix Rising has had to struggle with over time. And Mamadou Ka and crew have gotten very accustomed to that overall. I mean, you got a team like New Mexico and El Paso in front. Again, Phoenix can leapfrog El Paso should Rising get 3 points tonight after this weather delay and El Paso lose to Monterey Bay. But then again, Phoenix Rising in a draw with Orange County and Colorado Springs Switchbacks FC. Orange County able to win the head-to-head with 2 wins over Rising and the Switchbacks. Rising with a win over Orange County gets second, Colorado Springs third in the head-to-head, 8th overall in the Western Conference. It's just really tight to look at this stretch of play for all of these teams, and I think for Phoenix Rising too. One note, if you look at all the teams in the playoff picture, is that Rising comes into this game with 4 matches played where they did not get 3 points. The only win on July 12th against Oakland Roots on the road. And taking a look at some of the other teams that have struggled, New Mexico United's really the only one with a win, and then 4 consecutive losses going into this match day, where they once again are facing off at around the same time as Phoenix Rising, hosting the Basement Dwellers right now, Las Vegas. It's very interesting to see how this Western Conference is shaping up. And because a lot of these games, Sammy, are going to be happening at around the same time, it almost feels like a bit of an October feel. As we enter the business stretch of the season, it's very important for all these teams to try to put their best foot forward. And then you're probably looking at the table here and there to see who you could face or who are your biggest proponents to try to get you into the playoffs and potentially knock you out. And I bet Pamadou Ka and Phoenix Rising are doing that tonight.
Yeah, and we'll take a look at the table briefly for Tampa Bay at the very bottom, 18 points. But again, they are just 3 points off the playoff line as well, and they've kind of been trending in the right direction ever since the hire of Dominic Casciato. They've shown some promise, especially with as good of a resume that Casciato's built over the last couple seasons.
I mean, the guy's the 2-time USL League One Coach of the Year. He's brought championships to Union Omaha. And again, he wants to do that in the USL Championship. And that's the ideal progressions of coaches like Casciato's. They're supposed to work their way up. And he's able to really take over this Tampa Bay Rowdy side that has kind of been struggling for a while ever since firing their original head coach, Robbie Nielsen, who departed 5 games into the season. Again, it's important for Tampa Bay to try to get back in it. And again, taking a look at their stretch, 3 points off Rhode Island, a team that drew Phoenix Rising earlier this year in Phoenix in 8th place with 21 points. You got Indy 11, the Miami FC, and Birmingham Legion, another team that drew Phoenix Rising in the Valley in front of them. This is a big opportunity for Tampa to try to get something back, because you take a look at Miami, Birmingham, Rhode Island, all of those teams have 20 matches played this season. Tampa at 19. Essentially speaking, have a game in hand, as all of the teams in the Eastern Conference have played either 19 or 20 matches this season. So for Tampa, this is a game in hand, and this is a match that can work in favor of you. You're on your home pitch, and you're able to play this game against a Phoenix Rising side that has struggled away from home this season. This is a chance for you to try to wipe away the mistakes from last week against North Carolina and get 3 points.
Yeah, and also, since we didn't get a chance to earlier, you want to take a quick look at the keys to the game here. Your key to the game for Phoenix is to buy into the counterattack, something we haven't really seen too much of this year.
And the other thing, too, is that Tampa Bay, especially under Casciato, likes to play a Spanish style of football. For those unfamiliar with that, it means really holding on to the possession, passing the ball around. This is a very critical passing team, Tampa Bay, when it works well. When it doesn't, then the opposition can get possession, and they need to push quick. That's what Phoenix Rising needs. They need speed, and that's something we didn't see in Lexington last weekend, Sammy. The team was relatively lethargic in trying to get on the counterattack. Wasn't much intensity in trying to fight for those duels and try to make their way up the pitch. That's something Phoenix Rising will have to do tonight if they want to head back to the Valley with 3 points. That's Phoenix's keys to the game. Tampa Bay, it's avoid mental mistakes, and I think that's the one thing when you're playing a possession-style offense is everybody needs to be dialed in. There's some players that love having possession. Others want to just wait for it and go on the counterattack because of the mental discipline it takes to really move your feet, move the ball, and just keep possession and keep momentum in your favor. Tampa Bay had a couple of mental mistakes that really hurt them against North Carolina. It caused them to go on the attack, and especially the first goal for North Carolina that got the host on that night an equalizer. It was just a simple back pass by Alvarez that was really not going for anybody. North Carolina is able to scoop it up, go the other way, and score. Those are the itty-bitty things you have to do in a possession-style system, and it's really important for Tampa Bay to try to lock it down against a Phoenix Rising team that, yes, doesn't have their speedster in the past, Joe Margarita, but Darius Johnson can provide some speed. So can Damian Rivera down the flanks, and Isan Sako can go into either channel and provide that distribution and provide that power as well.
Yeah, and thank you, Mahir. And after that, we'll take a quick break here on the Phoenix Rising Radio pregame warm-up show. Still in the lightning delay. We'll keep you updated with that when we have more word. We'll be back in a few moments.
Suzuchuku's in. Arteaga! You're listening to Rising Radio, home of the 2023 USL champions. Bliss and a burst of red smoke. Phoenix Rising, our home. Welcome to 38th and Washington. Stick around for more as our broadcast continues.
Hey Phoenix Rising fans, this is Discount Tire, your hometown tire retailer and trusted partner on the road for over 65 years. We know it can be overwhelming when buying tires, but we're here to help. Our online tire buying guide, Treadwell, makes finding the right tires simple. Just plug in your vehicle, location, and driving habits, and Treadwell will give you unbiased, personalized recommendations based on your needs, not based on price. Inviting, easy, and safe. Just how tire buying should be. Shop tires with Treadwell at discounttire.com. Let's get you taken care of.
Buying a house can seem almost impossible, especially today. But with the right agent in your corner, it makes the challenge seem effortless. Hi, I'm Connor Cochran with Good Oak Real Estate, your go-to agent in the Valley. Whether you're buying, selling, or investing, I'm here to guide you every step of the way. Because finding the perfect home shouldn't be stressful, it should be exciting. Call 480-688-3200 today. Again, that's 480-688-3200. Let's have the conversation.
You're listening to the Jim Rome Show.
Did the Mavericks raise ticket prices as soon as they saw Kyrie writhing on the floor in pain? Would not surprise me at all, given that's exactly what they did after they dealt Luka and before Kyrie went down. Never mind raising ticket prices. Now that Kyrie is lost for the year, why not just make it official and announce today that you're moving the franchise to Vegas? Trust me, nobody would be surprised.
James Out West, your home for sports down here in the desert. Join James and Pat the Stat Guy as they recap the weekend and dive deep into the numbers for the NFL, NBA, college sports, and more.
That's 5 seasons of 1,200 yards.
Player stats, team numbers, and contracts are just the start of the discussion for James and Pat.
He started 815 career games. He threw 749 complete games.
There's no hiding when it comes to stats. It's James Out West every Monday night from 7 to 8 p.m. right here on KTUS AM 1060 and on the KTUS Join in on the Sports Zoo on your ride home from work with Dave Rooster Bierstein. Join Rooster as he lays down what's happening around sports and makes it clear what's on his mind.
Oh my.
Catch the day's craziest stories and some of the latest numbers from the sports books across the valley. The Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Bierstein.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a wild option.
Weekdays 5 to 6 p.m. on KTUS AM 1060 and on the KTUS 1060 app. Each day at work just dragging on. Get your sports fix on the lunch break. Join Chris Schubert and producer Evan live as they give their local perspective on the world of sports. Baseball, football, and basketball. Everything has a home on their plate. It's The Lunch Break with Chris Schubert, live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060, on the KDUS 1060 app, and KDUS 1060 on YouTube.
The sun's shining, birds are singing, and all feels right in the world.
Until the season changes, and suddenly you lose your motivation to get out of bed. In fact, 1 in 5 people experience some form of depression, no matter the season or time of year.
At the American Psychiatric Association Foundation, our vision is to build a mentally healthy nation for all, because we want you to live your best life and be your best you all year round.
Please visit mentallyhealthynation.org to learn more.
We're the Goo Goo Dolls. We're fortunate that our daughters have what they need to grow and learn. But that isn't the case for nearly 13 million kids in the U.S. that struggle with hunger.
Childhood hunger is a heartbreaking reality that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste and provides it to families and children in need.
You can help kids in need in your community by visiting feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Hey, hon, what you doing with your phone? Taking pictures?
No, I'm asking it questions.
Like what?
Hey, Bobo, do flowers have best friends?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, follow me. I want to show you something. Look, flowers do have best friends.
Whoa.
Some answers can only be found in nature. Discover the unsearchable. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a trail near you. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
I'm Naheem Hines, proud supporter of the Muscular Dystrophy Association. My mom has muscular dystrophy, and the MDA helps her and kids like my buddy Ethan.
My name is Ethan, and I'm 12 years old. Thanks to the Muscular Dystrophy Association and people like you, I have more hope than ever before. And MDA funds over 150 care centers for kids like me.
For over 70 years, MDA has been transforming the lives of people living with muscular dystrophy, ALS, and related neuromuscular diseases. Learn more at mda.org today.
What would you give for a child you loved? To make their wish come true? To help them fight a critical illness? Just imagine what you'd do. You see, wishes are so powerful, and you can make them real. They can give a child back their childhood, even change the way they feel. Every single one of us can make the stars align, because when we come together, hope and joy will shine. Wishes need stars like you. Visit Make-A-Wish at wish.org.
Uzuchukwu's in. Arteaga! You're listening to Rising Radio, home of the 2023 USL champions. Bliss and a burst of red smoke. Phoenix Rising, our home. Welcome to 38th and Washington. Stick around for more as our broadcast continues.
Welcome back to the Phoenix Rising Radio pregame warm-up show here on the Phoenix Rising Radio Network. Little bit of update for you on the Lightning delay. Kick is slated to be at 9:35 Eastern. That's 6:35 local Arizona time. But in the meantime here, there's a new man on the block, Daniel Flores. We didn't get to talk too much about him earlier. We got to see him for 45 minutes last week. He's in the starting lineup tonight at left back. What do you expect from him tonight, Mahir?
Yeah, I mean, this is a guy that plays left back and is something that the front office for Phoenix Rising wants in a high-caliber team that is willing to push in the playoffs and hopefully push for a USL championship down the way. I think he brings in a lot of qualities that makes him a good left back, but can really push the pace forward, can press a little bit. Unfortunately picked up a yellow card while pressing late into second half stoppage time against Lexington, but he's a guy that, you know, can really push forward and dictate the pace down the stretch. And that's something that Phoenix Rising has really struggled with when you take a look at Quaysho's availability along with Ryan Flood, and then you have Pierce Rizzo slotting in for Colin Smith over the past few weeks. It's been tough to take a look at this Rising side and see some solid either fullbacks or wingbacks that can really push some pace and really, I think, provide some intensity, because when you have someone of that professional caliber like Daniel Flores, who's coming over from Liga MX, he's a guy that's seen a lot of professional action. And again, taking a look at the USL Championship in general, there's a lot of guys that have gotten reps at the next level, or at least have been in the same rooms of that. Obviously for Phoenix Rising, Pamadou Ka, who played 6 years in the MLS, Noble Okello, who spent 5 years in Toronto FC's professional side, along with the academy. There's a simple pace when it comes to playing at professional levels in North America, and Daniel Flores provides that for this team, especially with that help at left back. And he's also a guy, too, that the Banditos can really rally around as well, something that Phoenix Rising has kind of talked about. A lot of players that provide a personality and provide something that is essentially Arizona, if you will. Again, Flores, a guy from Arizona playing closer to family now. It's really beneficial for him, and I think it's really beneficial for the team.
Yeah, like you said, a guy that the Banditos can rally around. He also scored 4 goals in his time in Mexico, over 2,600 minutes in the expansion side over for Top Tapito. And also here, there's still a couple more signings on the way. We won't say who, but kind of more speculation. What do you think that Phoenix may need? What do you think might be on the way?
You know, I think for Phoenix Rising, it's just about trying to find those core moments overall. You know, I think you take a look at some of the spine players in any type of football team with the goalkeeper, center back, the 6, the 9. It's really important for Phoenix Rising to try to get something down the middle that can really solidify this team, provide some sort of leadership overall. And I think the other thing worth noting for Phoenix Rising, the absence of Jerome Margarita leaving just a few weeks ago. He's a guy that provides a lot of pace, a guy that provides a lot of power. It's no surprise that he's making the move to Belgium and again making the move back to Europe after basically starting up his career in the Netherlands. A very European-like football player. Phoenix Rising needs a replacement like him because you take a look over the past 2 years, Phoenix Rising has been very good on the wings, but they haven't been great unless Margarita's on the pitch. Easily one of the best, if not the best, player in red and black this year because of the type of speed he provides. You need a guy that can be really one-on-one with different defenders and really drive in different defenders, open up space for someone playing the 9 or playing the 10, and just really kind of spice things up, if you will. That's what Margarita did, and I think Phoenix Rising needs to find that replacement.
Yeah, and I think they kind of were trying to find that last week a little bit. We saw towards the end of the first half. Pa took Isan Sako out from the middle. He moved him out to the left wing, and he said in midweek media he was trying to give Sako just more one-on-one opportunities, maybe spreading open the field a little bit. Do you think we're going to see more of that adjustment tonight, maybe depending on the score?
You know, I think it really depends, yes, on the score, but I think just on how this match operates in general, because you take a look at the wings right now, you have a Damian Rivera, and again, Damian playing his first start in almost 3 months. His last start coming May 17th against Monterey Bay. Darius Johnson on the right, a guy that's moved from that super sub, if you will, to a starting role. It's going to be interesting to see how Sako dictates that, because especially with Rivera too, a guy that's still trying to get his legs underneath him, has come off the bench over the past couple of games or so. Let's see if Rivera slides into the middle, essentially kind of plays that false 9 role, if you will, and Sako decides to spread it out towards the left wing, play balls in down low, and try to get something down the middle. But even if not down the middle, Sako's very good, especially at 38th and Washington, to try to go out towards the left wing and win those one-on-one battles. That's something Phoenix does really well at home, is they'll take windows and create windows to try to really go down the wings, especially in the left side and the right side. Try to get some service, maybe cut it back towards an Avievu or an Okello to just spread the ball out a little bit more. And I think in general too, it's going to be interesting to see if Sako is in that role. Again, taking a look at the bench, Remy Cabral, who made a little 10-minute stint against Lexington, also on the bench tonight. So if Pop brings in Remy, it will be interesting to see if, 1, Sako stays on, but 2, if he does stay on, does he go out to the wing and maybe provide some fluidity there?
Yeah, and also you just made a good point about the bench. This is probably the deepest bench we've seen all year, and a bench with all professionals. I can't tell you the last time we saw that. I mean, you guys have guys like Charlie Dennis, Xion Emmers, Darius Formella, and you said Potmar Boyd. Like, the quality players on the bench, and it's not getting thin, and you're maybe not getting nervous as the game goes on and not going your way.
I think that's one thing that Phoenix Rising has struggled with at times. As much as we've talked to Pa week in, week out about the academy products and just about the academy in general and what they can bring to the side, specifically what we've seen out of Pierce Rizzo recently, Braxton Montgomery before he left for Rutgers, even Jamison Ping, who's unavailable for this game, is on the injury report going into today. But again, taking a look at this bench, a lot of great options. Potmar Boy is back on the bench after starting that Lexington match. Again, Pamuduka mentioned in the midweek that it was interesting to see that pairing between him and Asenge, something that's happened a little while, not too much, knowing that Pop hasn't come back since late July or so, but again, very interesting to see that pairing overall. Wasn't exactly impressed by it, Pa. So it will be interesting to see how Saint does in that left center back category. Again, Ryan Flood, a guy that's got decent minutes, Charlie Dennis, Xion Emmers, the same thing could be said for him. He was very speedy on Saturday, kind of more speedy than at least I thought over the past few games ever since making the move from Rapid Bucuresti to Phoenix Rising. So it will be interesting to see if Pa utilizes him in that substitute role, maybe provides a spark off the bench. But again, going back to what you said, Sammy, a really good bench and something that Phoenix Rising can benefit from tonight.
And one more question for you, Mahir, before we go to break. Something with Phoenix and all the injuries and all the moving pieces, the chemistry has felt off, and that especially has felt off the last couple weeks, and especially those grueling, really tough 90 minutes in Lexington. It just felt like the chemistry wasn't there. The ball was not moving. A lot of sloppy passes. Do you think maybe they kind of get something back? Like, how do you navigate that? Because you don't really have time. You don't really have any throwaway games, any points that you can kind of just not care about.
Well, I think it goes back to the roster and what these guys are doing in practice. But I think practice can only do so much when you're paired in different teams. You put an A side or a B side together and you can really gel with players that are at your skill level, but it really shows up in the matches itself. And again, taking a look at a guy like Sako, who likes to play up top. More specifically, I'm looking at this midfield with Hope, JP, and Noble. You know, three guys that have played together multiple times this season. Skier's really slotting himself in that sixth role after Carl Saint got the start, and then Saint had to play back in the left center back role in April and May. Again, that midfield is something that, again, maybe not be ideal for this Phoenix Rising side, but it has happened, and Pa has deployed that before. So it will be interesting to see how this team responds to it. But I think from this midfield, I can tell that this is going to be at least a more coherent Phoenix Rising side. Maybe they don't get too much in the attack. It might be a similar situation where they might get maybe 1, 2, 3 really good chances throughout the match, knowing how Tampa likes to play with possession. But if you can play with the ball well, that's what's going to be the difference tonight, really for any team, but especially for Phoenix Rising.
Yeah, kind of going back to your keys of the game, playing the ball well, playing smart, no mental mistakes, no unmarked men on the back post. That was the big goal. That was the first goal against Lexington last weekend, and the second goal as well. Paul actually insisted that goal was an offside regardless. Wouldn't have mattered, wouldn't have affected the outcome, I should say. But with that, we'll take a quick break here on the Phoenix Rising Radio pregame warm-up show. Kickoff slated still for 6:35 p.m. Arizona time. We'll be back in a couple minutes.
Uzuchukwu's in. Arteaga! You're listening to Rising Radio, home of the 2023 USL champions. Bliss and a burst of red smoke. Phoenix Rising, our home. Welcome to 38th and Washington. Stick around for more as our broadcast continues.
Hey Phoenix Rising fans, this is Discount Tire, your hometown tire retailer and trusted partner on the road for over 65 years. We know it can be overwhelming when buying tires, but we're here to help. Our online tire buying guide, Treadwell, makes finding the right tire simple. Just plug in your vehicle, location, and driving habits, and Treadwell will give you unbiased, personalized recommendations based on your needs, not based on price. Inviting, easy, and safe. Just how tire buying should be. Shop tires with Treadwell at discounttire.com. Let's get you taken care of.
Hi, I'm Peyton Manning, and I'm partnering with the American Red Cross this year to tackle blood shortages. Giving blood's important because every 2 seconds, someone actually needs blood, and unfortunately, only like 3% of the U.S. population donates. So we have to step up to give and to make sure there's plenty of blood available for those in need. Visit redcrossblood.org to get in the game and make an appointment to give.
Buying a house can seem almost impossible, especially today. But with the right agent in your corner, it makes the challenge seem effortless. Hi, I'm Connor Cochran with Good Oak Real Estate, your go-to agent in the Valley. Whether you're buying, selling, or investing, I'm here to guide you every step of the way. Because finding the perfect home shouldn't be stressful, it should be exciting. Call 480-688-3200 today. Again, that's 480-688-3200. Let's have the conversation.
You're listening to The Jim Rome Show.
Did the Mavericks raise ticket prices as soon as they saw Kyrie writhing on the floor in pain? Would not surprise me at all, given that's exactly what they did after they dealt Luka and before Kyrie went down. Never mind raising ticket prices. Now that Kyrie is lost for the year, why not just make it official and announce today that you're moving the franchise to Vegas? Trust me, nobody would be surprised.
James Out West, your home for sports down here in the desert. Join James and Pat the Stat Guy as they recap the weekend and dive deep into the numbers for the NFL, NBA, college sports, and more.
That's 5 seasons of 1,200 yards.
Player stats, team numbers, and contracts are just the start of the discussion for James and Pat.
He started 815 career games. He threw 749 complete games.
There's no hiding when it comes to stats. It's James Out West every Monday night from 7 to 8 p.m. right here on KTUS AM 1060 and on the KTUS 1060 app.
Welcome back to the Rising Radio pregame warm-up show here on the Phoenix Rising Radio Network on their social media pages. A bit of a lightning delay over in St. Pete before Phoenix and Tampa Bay kick off on national television on ESPN, The Deuce tonight, Mahir. But before we get into the game, we're going to talk a little bit about Pierce Rizzo, the 18-year-old Academy kid, UC Irvine commit, getting another start at that right back position, a position he said one of the few he's never really played before until he's getting thrown into it in professional competitions.
Yeah, and again, the guy that's played that role for the past 4 matches. A little bit surprising in that first role on July 19th against El Paso Locomotive FC. But again, this is a guy that's held his ground and did what a right back needs to do at times. And I think especially for a team like Rising that, again, we've talked about Flores and how it needs to, really push up at times. I think Rizzo could do that as well, but his intelligence on the pitch, Sammy, is really beyond his years right now. It's really good to take a look at him progressing into the midfield, especially with the relations he has with whoever's playing 8. Sometimes it's Emmers, sometimes Dennis, and really connecting down that right wing. He's a really smart guy when it comes to playing all around the pitch, if you will. And again, we talked about his qualities at defensive midfielder, something that he's done a lot of in the Rising Academy. And it feels like that sort of play comes out whenever he's on the pitch because he wants to play a little bit higher up and try to dictate the pace a little bit down the wings and try to find that open space. Sometimes when you're a 6, it's all about finding space to really push the play forward. And it seems like Rizzo really wants to do that as a right back. And again, sometimes pushing down the wings can help, but if you can push down the middle and down the channels, those are beneficial too.
We'll take a quick look right before we get back underway again at the Phoenix Rising lineup. It'll be Rakovsky back in goal, as we said. Daniel Flores, the left back, getting his first start in Rising Red. Carl Fred Saint and Estella Senge, the 2 center backs. Carl Fred Saint, probably the captain, wearing the captain's armband tonight. And as we just said, Pierce Rizzo in that right back position. It'll be Hope Avievo on the left side in the midfield. Then Novo Akella out on the right side and JP Skierce in the middle. Then we'll have the speedy and really crafty producer Kevin Cardaz, loves him, thinks he's one of the best dribblers maybe in the championship alone, Damian Rivera. And there'll be Darius Johnson off the right side. And the 9, Isan Nino Sacco, the Frenchman, up the middle for Phoenix, as we are going to get ready to get underway from Al Lang Stadium. Once again, coming to you from the bunker here in Phoenix. Phoenix rocking that 4-3-3 formation that we've seen a lot this season, sometimes dropping into a back 2 when playing from behind, as Coach Pa Moduka has consistently done.
That's something that I've liked to see from Phoenix, and you have to credit Pa for everything that's happened this season, the good and the bad. He's continued to stick with the same formation. It was something he made very known in preseason, that this is his ideal formation, either playing with a 6, an 8, and 10. The midfield likes to be dynamic. Having that 4-back line really spreads out his defenders to make sure that they're in the correct spacings. And then up top, too, wingers going down towards a 9. Again, it's one of the purest formations in football, and it's good that Pa has continued to stick to his word and deployed week in, week out.
Yeah, and we'll take a look at the live table right now, as he kind of just shows that Phoenix kind of getting bumped up and down right now, with I believe Lexington is up 1-0 on Oakland Roots, because those games started 35 minutes ago. They're almost through an entire first half on those sides that this game is supposed to start at the same time as those. So Phoenix technically right now, Mahir, is out of the playoff picture at 9th place. Lexington has moved up into that 8th spot with 25 points. Colorado Springs up to the 7th spot with 25 points as well, and Orange County with 25 for a little 3-way tie.
And that's the most important thing about matches like this, because if this match takes place, let's say in April, May, or June, we could say, hey, you know what, Phoenix Rising needs to get points, but it's not going to directly affect them. But that's the case today, because if this result holds, as it is across the country right now, Phoenix Rising needs to get a point if they want to be in the playoff picture. And then again, you're in a four-way tie with Orange County, Colorado Springs, which you've been with before, but also Lexington. So it's very important for this Rising side to try to go on the road, not just tonight, but in the road trips after this, Sacramento, North Carolina, and then eventually Pittsburgh in the final week of the season, to try to get those results, because those are the crucial ones. We talk about that home stretch coming up after this, 7 of the last 10 at 38th and Washington, but it's matches like these that provide a little bit of confidence and a little bit of stability for Rising before heading back to comfort.
Yeah, and it's also so important, especially that game in Lexington last week where they officially lost the head-to-head against them, and then also prior in Orange County where they won 3-1 and then they went on the road and lost 4-1, so they lost the head-to-head on goal differential, which is something that Paul was very upset about, very adamant about. That they know where they are and they know what they need to do. It's just the matter of, can they execute, and can they limit the mental mistakes, and can they just keep tunnel vision forward?
That's something that, again, Phoenix Rising they've had an interesting conversation around it, because you take a look at the beginning of the year, the biggest question was, does this team live up to the word of Pamadou Ka, which was, we know what we're capable of doing, now we've got to show it. And that was something that this team really struggled with in the opening weeks. When you lose to Tulsa, you have to come back from being 4-1 down against El Paso just to get a point. And same thing goes to Rhode Island, where you're down 2-0 and you have to just struggle to get some results going your way. You have to consider when those 3 points can really help you overall. And again, taking a look at the crowd right now in Tampa, again, a 9 p.m. kickoff on the East Coast, now past 9:35 Eastern. It's very important for this Rising side to essentially try to thwart that momentum, because it's not going to be the crowd as one might consider. And you have to really try to push momentum more in your favor. And again, Paz talked about that in previous weeks, that even though this team continues to play different opponents, it's a match at the end of the day. The biggest difference, though, is the crowd. And Phoenix Rising going on the road against a Tampa Bay side that's been in the NASL, the USL Championship. They're used to matches like these at their home stadium. It's very important for them to just be able to just go out there, be present, and go out there and win.
A very historic night for Tampa Bay at their home stadium as well, Al Lang Stadium. It's their 50th anniversary from, as you said, all their history through all the different leagues. They're debuting their 50th anniversary kits tonight. And also, we'll take a look quickly at the matchup history right before we get underway, as both teams have taken the field and taken their squad pictures. The 5th meeting should be the 6th all-time, the 2020 championship title claimed by the Banditos, of course, because why not? Tampa Bay leads the series 3-0-1 all-time with 9 goals for and just 2 goals allowed. Last year was a 0-0 draw, and previously Rising lost on the road 2-0 in May of 2023. Charlie Dennis, funny enough, scored for Tampa. There's a lot of familiarity between these two teams on both sides. We'll get to that more in the game as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's so interesting to see. Again, Lawrence Wyke, a guy that started for Phoenix Rising a lot last year, getting some reps with Tampa Bay. Juan Carlos Azacar, a guy that's gotten reps with Tampa Bay ever since coming on just a few weeks ago. He's less than a month in the Bay Area and continues to get some reps overall in the Sunshine State, trying to find some stability ever since leaving Phoenix Rising in December. You know, this is the one thing about the USL. You have so many guys that are going from team to team every year. Again, taking a look at Phoenix Rising, Charlie Dennis, who's spent a lot of time both in Florida and in Arizona with multiple teams. It's always interesting to see these different types of matchups.
And we're finally ready to get underway from Al Lang Stadium. Phoenix Rising rocking their all-red kits, and Tampa Bay rocking their 50th anniversary all-white kits with yellow and green on the shoulders, as well as these bright yellow and green socks. I'm a fan of these jerseys in here.
Yeah, it's got an interesting overall.
And we are officially underway from the Bay Area in the Sunshine State. Tampa Bay setting this one long, headed up and over the head of looks to be Rivera. as Tampa Bay gains possession back now to Castellanos. Back over to the center for Lasso. Now over for Guillen, their captain tonight. Guillen taking his time, sending it long. This is something Tampa Bay likes to do a lot. They're going to have a man in the penalty, or excuse me, the flag comes up from the sideline official. It'll be offsides. Looks like that one was intended for Moon.
Interesting play, though, by Tampa Bay, trying to play the ball over top, but better discipline by Pierce Rizzo to hold his line there, make sure the Tampa Bay runner goes offside in that situation.
Here's Akello now up, center pitch for Hope Avievu. Now gives it to Skiers. Skiers serving up, now out wide, Damian Rivera. Rivera into the attacking third. Now over to Flores, back to Skiers. Skiers kind of on that left side on the near sideline. Now back to Carl Fred Saint. They'll go all the way over Ride to the youngster Pierce Rizzo, and Rizzo will send it all the way back, almost 30 yards to Patrick Rakowski. He's about 15 yards outside of his goalie box. That'll say with Saint. Saint goes right back to Rakowski. Tampa Bay not showing too much pressure yet, as Saint gives to the 6'5" Akello, who gives to Skiers. Now up to Sacco. Sacco, a poor touch. Those will be taken away. Lasso now outright to Moon. Moon breaks the attacking third. Now over on the right side, it's Lasso. Lasso sends it back up for Crisostomo. Crisostomo pokes it in, and it will be found by Saint. Saint clears it back out to Lasso. Lasso now sent in wide. And the penalty, or excuse me, and the flag comes up again on Azekar. Second offside in just the 3rd minute for Tampa Bay.
And we're starting to see Tampa Bay really show their colors here. And again, a guy like Juan Carlos Azekar, who played left back with Phoenix Rising, essentially playing in that striker spot right now with Wubens Pasillas. Again, not something you see very often, but Tampa really opting to play Pasillas up top, and someone, whoever it is, center midfielder, wing back, maybe even Bassett himself, who's slotted in that striker role alongside Pasillas, really accompanying him right now.
Phoenix with the ball around the center of the pitch. Avievu drops it off for Akello. Akello switches it wide to the left side for Rivera. Rivera chasing it down, and he can't get there. It's a bit too strong bodily. Tracks it down, and it looks like we have a whistle off the ball. Rivera may have been a touch offside. It'll be a free kick for Tampa. Into the 4th minute now, still 0-0, as there's Dominic Casciato. With such a stacked resume he's built in such a quick 2 years. Now Tampa with it over on the far side again. They're going to try and send it long again, something that they have liked to do, especially with the bringing in of Casciato. They went to that a lot last week against North Carolina as well. That ball was sent too long. Rakowski tracks it down. Now over to Flores. Back down to Carl Fred Saint. Push back into the corner. Rakowski again. Tampa Bay showing a little bit more press, as they're going to give it to Rivera. Rivera heads it along only as far as Lasso. Forrest Lasso working it back to Guillen. Guillen out to Van Kazeel. Back to Guillen, now to Lasso. Tampa Bay trying to build out the back more here, maybe looking for that long ball once again.
Yeah, that's why they're keeping it within their back line right now. They want to try to get the ball as it happens right now.
There's the long ball from Lasso. It's going to get over the head of Rizzo. Now ball in towards the box, at the top of the box. Here's a shot. Good tackle by J.P. Skiers to poke it away. Tampa Bay retains possession. Now to Moon over on the right side. Moon into the box, deflected away by Skiers once again. Headed away, can Phoenix track it down? No, it'll be poked all the way back for Lasso, right back over to Moon on the near side touchline. Now they're gonna send a run for Moon. He's got to step on Flores. Here's a cross into the box. It's too high and it'll sail over the far side touchline for a Phoenix throw as we go into the 6 minutes still nil-nil.
Decent chance there by Tampa. Again, Moon, I think, could have taken a few more yards of space, but that's some good work there by Flores, sticking out his left leg, forcing Moon to take that cross, and because of it, it's overpowered, overcooked, and Rising gets the ball back.
Yeah, Pierce Rizzo was involved there as well on the back post. Kind of had a 2-on-1 situation as that throw comes in. It looks like Phoenix is going to concede a foul about 10 yards outside of the 18-yard box. A little unclear who that one was on. Head official tonight is Mohammed Hassan. It's his 28th USL Championship game, and he gives out about 5 yellow cards a game. And here, looking at that replay, what did you see on that?
Yeah, it seemed kind of interesting because Skiers got to the ball. It seemed like he got a poke before the Rowdies players did, but Skiers, the captain, wearing the captain's armband tonight, I think got a little piece of leg as well with that ball, so it will be a free kick for Tampa.
It'll be Ollie Bassett, the Englishman, taking the free kick for Tampa as everyone else sets up at about the top of the 18-yard box. Bukowski back dead middle between the pipes. Bassett came over from Atletico Ottawa in Canada as Bassett. He's going to shoot it. It'll be deflected away off the rising wall for a Tampa Bay corner.
An interesting curler there by Bassett, just couldn't get it over the head of Saint, who was right in the midst of it, hitting his shoulder area. Again, decent chance there by Tampa, continuing to hold possession here as we're approaching 7 minutes or so. They're starting to try to assert their dominance on the Saturday night.
Bassett back to take the corner from the far side, right hand to the skies. This one's a little low, and it'll be knocked out right back to Bassett in the corner. He'll go again, this time high and curving, punched away by Rakowski. Only as far as Tampa Bay and Van Kazeel. Van Kazeel's going to send this one right back in, knocked away off the knee of Carl Fred Saint. This one will trickle all the way back into the Tampa Bay half. Tracked down by Blake Bodley, the Idaho native. Bodley crosses this one over. Now here comes Tampa Bay, shooting towards the attacking third, switching back to the near side. That's for Moon. Moon across into the box, headed straight up into the air by Acela Sangwe, headed forward again by the target, JP Skiers. As an errant ball kind of flies over the heads of everyone as Rakowski's able to track it down and slow down the momentum a little bit.
And I think Phoenix Rising needs that after being on the back foot over these first few minutes. Rakowski, I think, again, a guy that's maybe not the most communicative or vocal when it takes place in this back line in the midfield in general. But this is a Rising side that needs to try to go forward, as we're seeing now with Flores.
Here's Flores with a strong dribble. He'll cross it wide out for Darius Johnson. Johnson with a touch right outside the box. Darius Johnson into the box now. A little bit of a shake and a bake back for Hope Avievu. Avievu plays it back once more for Rizzo. Now over to Okello, all the way back for Carl Fred Saint near the midfield. As they're going to bring it now out wide to the left side for Flores. Playing a little two-man with Okello. Back for Saint. Now for Skiers and to Senge. Still hovering around the center of the pitch. Phoenix trying to build from the back a little bit after that short attack set up well by Flores. They'll still work it back for Rizzo now to Saint. Saint trying to send one through, maybe for Avievu. He let it go for Sacco, but Lasso was right there to pick it up.
Decent chance there by Phoenix Rising, trying to play direct, just couldn't get the last touch by Avievu. It's interesting to see that the wingers right now, at least Rivera's essentially playing in that left half space with the ball down the middle. Rising wants to try to compact the pitch at times and then really try to spread out towards the wings and try to maybe really make this effective, if you will, when it comes to spreading the play.
Castellano sent a ball long for Pasillas, but Carl Fred Saint was there to pick it up. That's a name you haven't really had to say too much of tonight. That was somebody who Tampa Bay, it felt like they targeted a lot last week against North Carolina.
And again, a guy that loves to try to get on the end of balls and the end of through passes overall. it's really important for this Tampa side to try to get some production. Again, Pasillas, a guy that in all competitions has scored 10 goals, has also provided some assists, so he's definitely a threat on the pitch.
Here's Rizzo now. Gives it back for Skiers. Skiers over to Flores. Flores playing up, gives it out wide to Avievu. This is where Avievu's best in space, playing a little two-man with Rivera. Avievu sends one into the box for Sacco, who is about 1.5 miles offside as he received that one probably 5, 6 or 7 yards really from a defender almost in the 6-yard box.
He was way off there, and again, Sacco reading the play well, but all of a sudden, Sammy, 3 offsides combined between both sides. It really dictates the amount of play and the amount of chances we're going to see tonight, because everybody wants to play over the top and everybody wants to play direct.
Yeah, that was kind of a disappointing start to Phoenix's first real possession of the night. It looks like there's a little bit of contact in Phoenix's defensive side, and a foul. Looks like Rizzo drew that one. This whistle goes against Ali Bassett, pleading his case with Mohamed Hassan, the official, a little bit. So Phoenix will get a free kick in the 12th minute, still knotted up at 0-0. So now Carl Fred Saint gives it over to Flores on the near side. Daniel Flores with a left-footed pass right back to Saint. Saint now to Okello as Phoenix works their way up the pitch. Now it's Acela Sangue. Out wide for Rizzo. Rizzo, Darius Johnson, a touch, a little too strong. He wins it back. Johnson now to Sacco. Right back to Johnson. Johnson taking the ground. It'll be a Phoenix free kick on the right side. About 8 or 9 yards from the 18-yard box and about 10 yards in from that far sideline.
Very technical play there by Johnson as Van Kessel tackles him from behind. Again, Johnson likes to play into space, but he did a really good job to just stay close towards his defender, and he's able to draw the foul.
Hope Avievu, the number 10 for Phoenix, setting up to take this free kick as everyone bunches up around the penalty spot inside the 18-yard box. Just a one-man wall for Tampa Bay. Rizzo and Saint about 5 yards back from the top of the 18-yard box. Have to assume they're going to look for the target, J.P. Skiers, or the 6'5" man, Noble Okello.
A lot of options for Phoenix.
Avievu taking his time as Hassan clears up some roughing. Here's a cross into the box. It's headed up by Tampa Bay and down by Rivera, cleared away. Only as far as Daniel Flores. He tracks it back around center pitch. He'll send it back for Rakovsky, who's about 20 yards outside of his box. No real pressure showing from Tampa yet. As Saint starts to work it out the back for Flores on the near side. Flores right back to Saint. Carl Fred Saint gives it back to Patrick Rakovsky, the German. They go with Saint again. Here comes Saint, making his way towards midfield. Saint skips a line over for Rivera. Rivera with a one-on-one with Lasso. Gives it back to Skiers. Skiers with a lot of space to work with. Trying to direct traffic. Now to Flores. Flores and Skiers, a little back and forth, little two-man. Now to Avievu. Avievu trying to find the run of Skiers, can't get it. He holds onto it.
Tampa's doing a good job with their lines right now, essentially playing in what they usually do, their 3-5-2. That's essentially how they're playing right now. Kind of sort of almost a pyramid, if you will, a 4-3-2-1 with all of those first 3 lines playing behind the ball, rather in front of the ball right now. Really trying to slow down Phoenix overall, who's trying to get some possession themselves.
It'll come back for Flores on the near side. Now to Rivera again on the near side touchline. This time with a different matchup of Moon. Goes back for Skiers now to Flores. Back to Saint once more. Saint and Okello working together now to Avievu. Phoenix just not able to break this strong defensive showing from Tampa Bay yet. Avievo's going to cross ways. Now over to Rizzo to Okello, trying to find the run of Darius Johnson, and it's going to be too strong. They're going to watch it roll out the back line for a Tampa goal kick.
If that pass was right at Johnson's feet, Sammy, that would have been the best pass in these opening 15 minutes. That was a great vision by Okello, just couldn't play the ball well. Again, kind of a slippery pitch on this Saturday night, coming off a lightning delays. And again, Tampa in general, much like the rest of Florida, very humid, so it's going to be a very different playing surface compared to what Phoenix is used to.
Yeah, but nonetheless, Phoenix still used to that heat, so maybe not at too much of a disadvantage. A lot of rain, a lot of monsooning here in the valley over the last couple of days, so definitely a little bit of humidity, not the extreme humidity you see over in the Sunshine State. Phoenix with possession, 16th minute. Neither team really able to get much going. Phoenix with 68% possession right now, Mihir. Again, that doesn't hold too much of the possession.
It's not too bad overall, though, when you take a look at how Tampa Bay has really lost possession over the past couple of weeks, especially as they're starting to roll out this Dominic Pasiato type football where it's really compact and they like to play some passes.
Here's a long ball over for Pasillas, tracked down by Asenge perfectly. Asenge, haven't had to call his name too much. Here comes Sacco, a pass over the line. And Sacco again, at least a step, maybe not 2 or 3 steps offside.
Kind of a very interesting situation there. Sacco is just trying to nod the ball down, maybe trying to get something with the least amount of contact to work in his favor.
Here comes Tampa the other way. This one rolls all the way to the back line before it's cleaned up by Asenge. Now over to Rizzo. Rizzo knocks it down as Okello boots it forward now to Sacco. And it's poked out of play off a Tampa defender for a Phoenix throw in their defending half.
Overall, some decent chances here for Phoenix, but it still feels like they're second best in this contest right now, just because Tampa is trying to assert some dominance in that attacking third, and it feels like for Tampa, they're trying to push forward and get that first goal. For Phoenix Rising, there still needs to be some sort of comfort.
Here comes Phoenix on the attack. Johnson leaves one through for Avievo. His cross is deflected at the top of the box. Back out now. Here comes Tampa the other way. All the way up for Lasso. 3-on-2 for Tampa. As that through ball is way too strong. Picked up by Rakowski with no contest. Phoenix taking their time with possession once more. Avievo has it in his own half. Now breaks the timeline with Flores. Flores kind of working that inverted center back position, something we see Colin Smith do. Colin Smith out with injury tonight. But Colin Smith here doing it on that right side, Flores on the left side.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different things that Phoenix Rising can especially do, and it's that versatility that really helps them. I mean, this is a team that's deployed 4 fullbacks to play the back line, including center backs this year. Did it July 19th against El Paso. So you never know with this Phoenix side. They've struggled with depth, they've struggled with injuries this year, so they've had to be creative when playing these different roles.
Tampa Bay with possession. Phoenix showing a little bit of pressure now as that's one back for Bandry. Now sends it out up towards the midfield, all the way out for Cristosimo. Cristosimo up for Moon. Moon sends it back to Lasso. Now up to Van Kazeel. Now back for Lasso again. Tampa Bay trying to find that long ball, trying to find a run. Phoenix's back line holding up strong. So they're going to keep holding possession on this back line now for Castellanos. And to Cristosimo. Danny Cristosimo, the California native, now up for Ollie Bassett. Bassett out wide for Moon. Moon finds Bassett on the run on the back line, and his cross sails high and wide. There was a couple guys over near that back post, but that one was at least 6 feet over their head.
good buildup by Tampa, but again, Bassett just played way too much on this ball than he should have had to. He's just within the box, close towards the byline, has to play that first time, but you just need a simple tap. And again, Saint is right in front of you, roughly 5 to 6 yards in front of you, but you don't need to play a ball that vicious.
Off the restart, Tampa wins possession back. And then they'll lose it just as quickly for another Phoenix throw on that far sideline into the 21st minute, still 0-0. Ollie Bassett looks a little upset with that one, probably still upset with that poor cross. It's Phoenix working it back for the man in net, Patrick Rakowski. Getting his start back after getting last week off. Tristan Henry took the reins in that 2-0 loss over in Lexington. As Darius Johnson gets a touch now out on the right side. Nearly loses it, retains possession, and saves it back into play for Pierce Rizzo. Plays for Skiers. Skiers switching sides now over to Flores. Flores with a cross into the box for Sacco, headed away by Lasso. Sacco might have been offside again. Tampa Bay working in a triangle on that far side, trying to break the Phoenix defense. Chrysostamo sends it back all the way for Bandry at the top of his 18-yard box. Chrysostamo now gives it to Van Kazeel. Back to Chrysostamo. Sacco giving pressure, and Sacco commits a tactical foul. Chrysostamo had a step on Sacco, and card is going to come out of the pocket for Isan Nino Sacco. That's Sacco's 4th yellow card of the season, the first booking on the night.
Yeah, it's tough when a player gets by you, and honestly, it's not that necessary from Sacco. You have a different line that's right behind you that can really help out with Chrysostamo and at least try to deter him in a different direction. Really no need to do that.
Here comes Tampa on the attack. Pasillas sends one through for Moon. Looks like the flag may have came up from the far side official, but that one rolled out off the back line for, I believe, a Phoenix goal kick at the moment. Phoenix on the restart. Sakella with it now, back for Rizzo. Now Asenge in his own 18-yard box. The man on loan from LAFC, been one of the most consistent and best players for Phoenix in his stint this season. Now Rivera loses it as Tampa Bay plays it for Moon. Now back for Forrest Lasso, the 32-year-old veteran and a former USL Defender of the Year. Tampa working it out wide. Now down the left sideline for Bassett. Or excuse me, that's Pasillas. Now back into the middle, ball through, cleared away by Asenge. Only as far as Lasso now to Castellanos as they're working it out wide for Moon. Moon pressured well by Flores. Now pressured by Avievo. Moon trying to get it around Flores, and he's knocked over. It'll be a foul against Phoenix.
Relatively tactical from Phoenix, knowing that Moon had a lot of space on the near side. 18 extended to try to break away from Flores. Hope also doing his best to try to knock away from Moon in ways, but 3 players with that. Flores, Avievu, and you also have Rivera checking back too. Phoenix Rising playing a little bit too compact in that moment, because if Moon somehow, someway breaks away, then there's a lot of space for him to either enter into the box or try to get a cross in.
It'll be a free kick for Tampa Bay, right around Phoenix's attacking third. Looks like it'll be Danny Chrysostamo, the 25-year-old California native, to take it. Sosimo with the high, bright yellow and green socks, as he's going to send a swinging right-footed ball into the box, headed down for Isan Nino Sacco, right over to Damian Rivera. And this is what we talked about. Can Phoenix build on the counter? Here they come. Avievu bails on it pretty quickly back for Sacco. Probably didn't have too many numbers up with him if Sacco's all the way back.
Not too many numbers, but also two rowdy players that were really nicking at Avievu to just stop the ball and try to play back towards Sacco.
Poor touch by Noble Okello as they're going to get this one up for Pasillas. Pasillas trying to send it long. Stopped back by Acela Senge as it gets poked out of bounds. Last touch by Tampa Bay. 26 minutes still 0-0.
Been an interesting half, at least for the center backs, to say the least, Sammy. It feels like Senge and Saint haven't had much to do, but it feels like they've been charged to try to at least hold their line and try to keep Tampa at rest. Not too many plays down the middle from Tampa, and whenever they've had a few chances to cross it in, nobody's been able to really ping it into the box or into the six and really trouble.
Here comes Tampa, through ball and a cross to nobody there. Moon will be able to track it down in the near side corner. Man closely by Flores. Moon with a move, trying to get it past two defenders. Rivera swoops it up. Phoenix pressured closely on the back line. Okello now to Saint, now through to Rivera. Phoenix coming on the counter, Rivera with a touch. Now to Skiers. JP Skiers tripped up, and a card is going to come out of the pocket very quickly. That one's going to go against Thomas Van Kazel. That's Van Kazel's third yellow card on the season.
We usually don't see JP Skiers run that fast, and he's a different type of target on that play. A target to try to slow things down, earn a free kick, and reset this Phoenix attack. But I like that Rising was buying into the counter into that moment.
Yeah, you kind of saw Sacco throw his head back in disappointment after that foul was committed. So maybe he thought he finally had a run that would improve quality for Phoenix. Rising work back with Saint and Senge on the restart. Acela Senge gives it up for Noble Okello, right back to Carlfred Saint. Saint up to Avievu, one-touch football. Skiers back to Avievu, a poor touch right at the top of the box. And another turnover, one of the better chances we've seen Phoenix have so far tonight. As this one's played long for Pasillas. Pasillas keeps it in play, trying to cross it, headed off by Saint right into the hands of Rakovsky.
Decent chances both ways though for Rising, playing very direct, and Pasillas again, nobody in the area, just decides to get a cross off, knows that he's got a defender close by, he can get that deflection, almost got a corner kick. If he had a little bit more force, would have gone out on that byline.
Phoenix holding possession once more in their own half. Senge with it. Now to Okello. Back for Senge. Senge shares it over to Saint. Now to Flores around that center line. Flores dribbles towards the center of the pitch, now sends it back out wide over to Skiers. Phoenix with 61.5% possession so far tonight, 38.5% to Tampa. Just 0.06 expected goals for Tampa. Just a flat 0 for Phoenix as well. Now here's a long ball over the top for Johnson, off the heel of a Tampa defender. Johnson tracks it down, now gives it back for Rizzo. The 18-year-old now back to Carlfred Saint, over to Flores. Daniel Flores in his first start in Rising Red. Now to Avievu, a poor pass for Sacco. Not on the same page. As Moon has it, now Van Kiesel. Back to Lasso, over to Castellanos. Castellanos back over to that far touchline. Phoenix gets it back. Johnson now over Avievu, center of the pitch. Back to Skiers. Hope again to DJ. DJ to Pierce. Phoenix not liking what they're seeing. Now it's Avievu. Here's Johnson. This is what they want. Trying to get it in, but have to bail once more now into the 31st. Really just a stonewall from both sides, all the way back for Saint. Now Skiers and Akello. Still just not a lot going.
Seems like both defenses are playing well. Again, not exuberantly well, but they are doing enough right now.
Here's Avievu with a little flick into the box for Sacco. Lasso sends it back out. Only as far as Daniel Flores. Flores now to Saint. To Akello. Out wide, Sacco. Gives it through for Rivera. Here's a cross into the box. A good slide tackle. And a good play by, I believe, Guy and the captain tonight for Tampa Bay. It'll be a corner for Phoenix.
I like the play, though, from Rivera, just making that run into the box, close towards the byline, just gets a cross off and provides another opportunity here for Rising.
Hope Avievu, the jack of all trades, the do-it-all, the do-it-everything guy for Phoenix. Out to take that corner kick, two hands to the sky. White wrist tape adorned upon him. Now with a right arm to the sky and a high swinging cross, punched up and out of play by Bandry. It'll go just to the right of the corner flag, so it'll be about as deep as you can go for a throw-in for Phoenix.
Kind of a long throw situation, if you will, for Rising, but another interesting effort there. And again, credit to Bandre for making that save.
It looks like we'll get a whistle and a quick hydration break in that heat and humidity over in the South Bay. So, Bahir, what have you seen so far, and what can Phoenix do to maybe really break this Tampa Bay back line that's held so strong so far through 33 minutes?
I feel like both teams have done well to try to enter the attacking third and try to make their presence felt in the final third. Neither team, though, has provided any sort of chances on net. 0 shots on target, only 2 shots in general, both going towards Tampa. Again, a very interesting game, a very tight game at times. 8 fouls in general, 5 towards Phoenix Rising. But again, this is a Rising team that surprisingly has a significantly more possession than Tampa does. 64.2% as it is right now, but 0 expected goals. Tampa 0.06. Yes, both teams are forwarding their way towards the attacking third or towards the box, but neither team has found that final product right now, and I feel like Rising's done really well to try to get some through balls in. Again, a really good break with Rivera right before this intermission for a while, and before the Hope Avievu corner kick, where Phoenix Rising was able to get a little bit of space and try to get a little bit of confidence to disrupt that Tampa Bay back line. Other than that, I haven't seen much from this Phoenix side.
Here, what do you think they're talking about right now, Coach Pamuka and his staff? That they can make an adjustment. Now we saw him do it last week at the end of the first half, where he put Sacco out wide to get a more one-on-one opportunity. Sacco kind of ended up out wide on that last sequence, and it almost turned into a chance.
Yeah, I think Sacco going out wide would be helpful for this Phoenix side. And again, they've tried to get some options. Johnson's played back a little bit in this right wing, and I like what Rivera's doing. I talked about that in pregame, where Rivera was going to fit into this lineup. It feels like he's going to be playing much higher up. Again, a guy that's very technical with his dribbling, can provide a little bit of flair, if you will, to that left forward position should Phoenix Rising move it that way.
Phoenix goes short on the throw on the restart. They'll send it quickly all the way back for Carl Fred Saint out to Daniel Flores. Flores to Rivera to Avievu. Avievu, right idea for Flores, just too strong. Poke back for Rivera, now back. Avievu near side. Here's Daniel Flores, who can't find anything. Now to Skiers. Skiers is going to try and send one long, way too strong. Almost had the run of Flores. It'll sail out of the back line for a goal kick.
I like Flores' play, though, and again, I like his positioning even better because that reminds me a little bit of what we've seen from Emi Quayshow over the past few games. Again, making those runs in towards the box from the near or far side. Again, a guy that did that just a couple of weeks ago against Birmingham Legion and provided a goal for Phoenix Rising, broke the deadlock in that one, and Flores could have been in a similar situation, although he would have been at a tighter angle in this matchup. It's really interesting to see how he's progressed, again, making his first start in red and black after coming in from Mexico.
Phoenix commits a foul just on the other side into Tampa Bay's attacking half, into the 36th minute now. Still knotted up at 0-0. Looks like Aaron Guillen, the captain, drew that foul, and he will take the free kick. Guillen in his 6th season with Tampa Bay, a Mexico native. And he's worn the captain's armband for them since 2023. Just a good sign of consistency for a squad that has not had any of that this season. Pass sails out wide, too high. It'll bounce out of play for a Phoenix throw taken by Rizzo. He'll work back with the Senge. Now Saint. Back to Acela Senge. Now with the pressure showing from Tampa Bay. With Bassett and company giving chase. Now Skiers to Saint. Akello. Phoenix moving the ball forward up the pitch into the attacking half. Now Rivera. Rivera breaking that final third. Can't find anything back for Saint.
Brilliant play, though, off the ball by Daniel Flores. Just saw some space in the left half space and decided to basically join the attack in that current situation, essentially providing himself as an extra attacker.
Phoenix turns the ball over. Here comes Tampa flying up the field on the counter attack. Pasillas, he'll lose it. That one ended just as quick as it started. Phoenix bringing down the pace right back to where they want it to be. Phoenix still with over 64% possession tonight as we work our way towards the 39th minute from Al Lang Stadium in the Sunshine State. Saint. Now to Asenge. Back for Rakowski. Now over to JP Skiers. To Avieva, right back to Skiers. Now brings it towards the near side for Akello. Noble Akello out in space. Can they find something? Akello, through ball for Rivera. Rivera with a touch. And Castellanos was right there with an answer to knock it out of play for, I believe, a Phoenix corner.
Still inconclusive right now. It might actually been potentially offside.
Yeah, it does. You're correct me here. It does look like it was an offside. It's a third offside on Phoenix tonight. Something they've really struggled with all year. As now here comes Tampa the other way. Deflected away quickly by Rizzo. Bassett almost had a run. Still trying to break that deadlock. Bassett got a touch, but JP Skiers came in there with a good tackle to knock it out for a Tampa corner. Ollie Bassett, a very decorated player over in Canada with Atletico Ottawa. He's finished his stint there as the club's all-time leader in appearances, goals, and assists as that cross is headed away by Darius Johnson and company. As the player's down on the ground for Phoenix, believe that's JP Skiers in pain. There was a lot of bodies, couldn't exactly see what happened there. The Arizona native rocking the captain's armband. Haven't seen him do that very often, just recently back from injury. Looks like it might have been a head injury. Skierce appeared to have collided heads with Juan Carlos Azacar, the former Phoenix Rising man.
Not a way you want to get reintroduced to your former teammate. Again, interesting overall to see Skierce's position in that area towards the 6-yard box. Had a little bit of a touch when it came to the ball, but again, Azacar plowing his way through, also providing some head contact as well.
Looks like Skierce is up and moving around. He'll most likely stay on the pitch. As look at a de facto water break as well. JP Skierce, funnily enough, played for Dominic Casciato last season when they won that championship in Union Omaha. Another little reunion there. Some other reunions, little more crossovers involving this game. Darnell King, a former Rowdies man, Phoenix's assistant coach. He also grew up in the Tampa area. Manuel Ortega and Juan Carlos Azacar obviously both played for Phoenix. Charlie Dennis on the bench tonight for Phoenix was a Tampa Bay member of the Tampa Bay Rowdies for a year and a half, and then moved on to Phoenix. Damian Rivera also suited up for Tampa Bay last season.
Very interesting overall when you take a look at, again, these two sides that are on the opposite sides of the country in two different conferences, really providing some extra spark. A little bit of history overall. Again, could have been the 2020 USL Championship final had it not been canceled. So a lot of different things moving for both sides over the past few years.
Pa Motoka giving instruction before the restart in the 42nd minute now. Still scoreless from Al Lang Stadium. Phoenix going to try to build out the back once more. Still no shots for the boys in red. Still no true opportunity. A couple opportunities negated by offside penalties. Phoenix with 3 offside penalties to Tampa's 2. Phoenix was still near 65% possession on the evening. Rizzo, pressured by Bassett, will have to work all the way back for his goalkeeper, Rakovsky. Now out on the near side for Saint. Now to Akello. Akello out wide. That one's going to be headed down. Here comes Tampa with the turnover on the counter attack. It's a pass out wide. Bassett with a left-footed cross right into the body. And sent out of play by JP Skierce. A good heads-up play. See, that was actually Blake Bodley, the Idaho native, on that one from Eagle, Idaho. Just a suburb of Boise.
Very interesting to see Tampa Bay's production when it comes to the fullbacks. We've seen Moon go up and Bodley with another good run into the attacking third, almost providing a good service there.
It'll be Ollie Bassett once more to take the corner kick for Tampa. With 2 arms to the sky, a high curving cross headed away by Flores, and there's a shot, but it's too far wide. Patrick Rakovsky very vocal after that one. Looks like Lasso got ahead to that, just not online.
Lasso was basically wide open, could have taken that shot from 12 yards out. Powerful header from the veteran center back, but just couldn't steer it on frame. Lucky break there for Phoenix Rising, though. If that's on target, I don't think Rakovsky was able to see it.
No, I don't think so either, and that's the mental mistakes we talked about. Unmarked men, not only on the back post, but in the box and in crucial situations like that, which have come to bite Phoenix so many times, time and time again, in this 2025 USL Championship regular season. As we have come into the 45th minute now with stoppage time on the way, a turnover, poor pass from Skierce. One back almost as quickly by Pierce Rizzo as he gets knocked to ground and picks up a foul. That one's gonna go against Rubez Pasillas. Phoenix with a quick restart as Flores loses it almost instantly to Crisostomo with a nice play. Now out wide from Moon. Moon pressured by Rivera. Back over to Crisostomo. He's gonna work his way back. Now to Castellanos. Castellanos hanging out right around midfield as we get closer and closer. So we'll find out what stoppage time will be. Have to assume it'll be at least a few minutes. A couple injuries so far tonight. Lasso. It'll be 4 minutes of added time before we go to break. As Tampa works it out wide for Moon. Moon with Crisostomo. Right back to Moon. Guarded closely by Flores. Crisostomo again on the near side, pressured by Rivera. Gives it up for Azakar. Azakar working center of the park. Now working over, ball crossed into absolutely nobody other than Daniel Flores. Clears it out, poked right back into the box. Cleared by Skierce. Now sent wide and too strong. Out for a Phoenix goal kick.
Discombobulated Phoenix on that last sequence. Again, so many players just chasing the ball. Even though they were able to clear it away, it shows that Phoenix Rising, again, doing a little bit better when it comes to man marking, but the struggles from last week continue to show.
Yeah, that was the first shot inside the box for either squad, that header from Lasso, and Phoenix still has not really been able to work it out of there since. Rising, trying to break the press from Tampa Bay. Showing stout pressure now as they're able to work it up a little bit, but a poor pass forces Avievu to poke it back for Saint. Now they'll go back for Avievu. Avievu working out in space, now wide, Daniel Flores. Flores with the left boot in a cross. Nearly volleyed in by Darius Johnson. That would have been a screamer.
Good chance, though, by Johnson. Just nearly latched onto that ball. Might have been going for a scissor kick, too, as leaving his left and right foot midair, if you will. Just couldn't square it, but again, Phoenix in these moments, after probably 10 to 15 minutes of being on the back foot, they're able to spring forward on what was a pseudo counter there, almost had their moment.
Guillen to take the throw for Tampa Bay. As we move now into the 48th minute. A poor throw right back to Phoenix. Here's Avievu. Good tackle by Crisostomo. Another good tackle by Crisostomo. But this time he'll be whistled for a foul as he was going for that ball against JP Skierce. JP Skierce goes down to ground in pain once again. Crisostomo pleading his case with Mohamed Hassan, the center official. Phoenix still looking for maybe one more chance before the halftime whistle.
This will be your sequence right here, Sammy. It feels like Rising again close towards the attacking midway point, can try to swing something into the box. Again, it has to be something that players can try to gobble up the chance towards the box and try to find some long ball forward.
Asenge takes the free kick, goes right to Saint. Carl-Fred Saint trying to work it forward with Avievu. As Avievu heads right back in Saint's direction. Now to Avievu out wide on the near side touchline. It's Saint once again. Switches sides. Rizzo. Now to Johnson. Johnson playing a little two-man with Rizzo. Now back to Asenge, center of the park. Brings it near side for Flores. Flores to Saint. Now into the 50th minute. Still no whistle. And there it is, 2 whistles will conclude the first half as we're still knotted up, scoreless from Al Lang Stadium in St. Pete, Florida. Mahir, what did you see from that first half? Very, very slow pace, not a whole lot. Only 3 shots for Tampa, 0 for Phoenix.
Very slow pace, like you mentioned, but a lot of passing with not much intent towards goal. It felt like both teams really lacked an attacking presence, and when they did, it was just about trying to find that final pass. Neither team really was able to trouble on target, really test each goalkeepers. It'll be interesting to see if they get some action going into the second half.
That's all we have for the first half here from the bunker in Phoenix. We'll take a short break, and then we'll come right back with the Rising Radio halftime report here on the Phoenix Rising Radio Network. Stay tuned.
Suzuku's in. Arteaga! You're listening to Rising Radio, home of the 2023 USL champions. Bliss and a burst of red smoke. Phoenix Rising, our home. Welcome to 38th and Washington. Stick around for more as our broadcast continues.
Join in on the Sports Zoo on your ride home from work with Dave Rooster Bierstein. Join Rooster as he lays down what's happening around sports and makes it clear what's on his mind.
Oh my.
Catch the day's craziest stories and some of the latest numbers from the sports books across the valley. The Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Bierstein.
I think that's kind of a wild option.
Weekdays 5 to 6 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app. Attention all clones. The Jim Rome Show is here for you every day here on KDUS AM 1060.
Lots to get done. Welcome to the program.
Listen in as Rome dives into the biggest sports headlines of the day. From final scores, player contracts and trades, team prospects, and even a spicy take or two. The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. every weekday here on KDUS AM 1060.
That's the trick.
Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app. James Out West, your home for sports down here in the desert. Join James and Pat the Stat Guy as they recap the weekend and dive deep into the numbers for the NFL, NBA, college sports, and more.
That's 5 seasons of 1,200 yards.
Player stats, team numbers, and contracts are just the start of the discussion for James and Pat.
He started 815 career games. He threw 749 complete games.
There's no hiding when it comes to stats. It's James Out West every Monday night from 7 to 8 p.m. right here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app. Each day at work just dragging on. Get your sports fix on the lunch break. Join Chris Schubert and producer Evan live as they give their local perspective on the world of sports. Baseball, football, and basketball. Everything has a home on their plate. It's the lunch break with Chris Schubert, live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060, on the KDUS 1060 app, and KDUS 1060 on YouTube.
Buying a house can seem almost impossible, especially today. But with the right agent in your corner, it makes the challenge seem effortless. Hi, I'm Connor Cochran with Good Oak Real Estate, your go-to agent in the Valley. Whether you're buying, selling, or investing, I'm here to guide you every step of the way. Because finding the perfect home shouldn't be stressful, it should be exciting. Call 480-688-3200 today. Again, that's 480-688-3200. Let's have the conversation.
Hey Phoenix Rising fans, this is Discount Tire, your hometown tire retailer and trusted partner on the road for over 65 years. We know it can be overwhelming when buying tires, but we're here to help. Our online tire buying guide, Treadwell, makes finding the right tire simple. Just plug in your vehicle, location, and driving habits, and Treadwell will give you unbiased, personalized recommendations based on your needs, not based on price. Inviting, easy, and safe. Just how tire buying should be. Shop tires with Treadwell at discounttire.com. Let's get you taken care of.
You're listening to the Rising Radio Halftime Report on the Phoenix Rising Radio Network.
Welcome back to the Phoenix Rising Radio Network halftime report from the bunker in Phoenix. And this game with Phoenix and Tampa Bay, Sammy O'Brien, Mahirson Hassan, not a lot going at all for either side. 3 total shots, all accredited to Tampa. 0.09 expected goals for Tampa, a flat 0 for Phoenix. What have you seen so far tonight?
Yeah, not much on the pitch overall, Sammy. Again, both teams have tried to play down the wings, and they've had a few inviting through balls that have essentially tickled the middle, but haven't really threatened overall. You know, I think it felt like with Tampa, they've done a really good job, not just tonight, but in the season, for bringing their fullbacks down the wings with Nick Moon on the right and Blake Bodley on the left. For Phoenix Rising, really impressive work from Daniel Flores making his first start in red and black today, along with Pierce Rizzo. It feels like those guys have been the best on the pitch so far. Again, that's according to Fatma, but also in my opinion too, because they've been able to control the ball. The problem is they have nobody in the middle to try to really get some shots going. Tampa's had a couple of sequences, but none of them really troubling Patrick Krakowski, and you could say the same for Phoenix, though. A decent swing into the box. Darius Johnson almost could have scored on a scissor kick, but he just couldn't get contact with the ball. Again, it feels like both teams are just longing for something that they just can't get right now.
Yeah, really just, again, as you said it, not a lot on either side. One shot inside the box for Tampa Bay. Phoenix kind of caught a break on that. Lasso was unmarked, almost in the center of the box, out of Rakowski's sight line, it seemed, as his header sailed pretty far wide. But Phoenix has also dominated the possession at nearly 65% to Tampa's 35. But again, can't find much.
Yeah, and I think the bigger thing with Phoenix Rising is it's kind of something we've seen, especially throughout the early parts of the season, that this team is much more confident in possession, specifically on the road. At home, it almost feels inevitable at times, but when they go on the road, it feels like this team is starting to really bring it to their opposition. And against a Tampa Bay Rowdies side that's taken more than 50% of possession in their past 2 games, it's really a good sign for Phoenix Rising to have some sort of possession when it comes to keeping the ball. The problem is Tampa Bay has basically thrown every single number back. Phoenix Rising hasn't seen the type of intensity that we've seen in the past, where they want to draw some lines going forward, skip some lines, and try to get past defenders. Haven't seen much of that today because of both sides just being flat out disciplined.
Yeah, and speaking of that discipline, maybe to break some of the monotony, Phoenix with probably their deepest and strongest all-professional bench for the first time in a very long time. Maybe some substitutions, some changes coming from head coach Pa Modou Kah sooner than we may expect.
I feel like if there's anybody that can really step up, it's 2 people right now. Remy Cabral, because it feels like Sacco, yes, he has that speed, but he's playing so far back at times, either in defense or he's playing back to goal in the center circle, that he doesn't have that space to maneuver forward, because Tampa Bay especially has put him in that number 9 role. And Sacco, again, we've seen throughout the season, has drifted left or right into the channels, essentially playing as that second winger. It's not the case today. I think Cabral, especially with his presence, can provide a lot of hope for a guy like Avievu or Okello going forward, and just provide some sort of supplements for the left and right wings. That's Rivera and Johnson right now. I think another guy I'd like to see, especially if Avievu or maybe Okello too, who's starting to get back into the starting lineup himself, is, you know, getting a little jaded down the stretch. Bring in a guy like Sion Emmers too, because he can be really speedy, and sometimes he's struggled to find his place on the pitch. Again, he likes to credit himself as a box-to-box midfielder, and sometimes he's struggled to play that box-to-box role. I think he did a good job of that in Lexington, at least when it came to pressuring, especially when you take a look at some of the situations where he gets some space down the wings. He sees the space, a little bit visionary at times, and it can really spark some sort of offense for this Rising side.
Another good spark we've seen so far tonight, in my opinion at least, Daniel Flores kind of working his way up a little bit of that inverted back. Well, what have you seen from him tonight?
I think it's been really good, because there were some really good stretches in this match where, yes, he's essentially complemented Avievu at times alongside Rivera, something that we've seen a lot of with Phoenix Rising when they go on the attack. The biggest thing I've seen is sometimes he will just go to a space and he'll run into it and try to create some space in that regards. And I think that's something that I've really been impressed with Flores. Sometimes he was playing as high as Sacco or Avievu or some of the midfielders and forwards that we've seen. It's been very impressive to see this Phoenix Rising side, again, pick up a guy like Flores, who's, again, flirted with Liga MX play in the past, that can really push something forward down the wings, because that's something that Phoenix Rising hasn't done a lot of, nor have they done it consistently this season.
Yeah, with that, we'll take a short break here on the Phoenix Rising Radio Halftime Report, with the second half coming up shortly. Still knotted at 0-0. Stay tuned.
Attention all clones. The Jim Rome Show is here for you every day here on KDUS AM 1060.
Lots to get done. Welcome to the program.
Listen in as Rome dives into the biggest sports headlines of the day. From final scores, player contracts and trades, team prospects, and even a spicy take or two. The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. every weekday here on KDUS AM 1060.
That's the trick.
Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Buying a house can seem almost impossible, especially today. But with the right agent in your corner, it makes the challenge seem effortless. Hi, I'm Connor Cochran with Good Oak Real Estate, your go-to agent in the Valley. Whether you're buying, selling, or investing, I'm here to guide you every step of the way. Because finding the perfect home shouldn't be stressful, it should be exciting. Call 480-688-3200 today. Again, that's 480-688-3200. Let's have the conversation.
Hey Phoenix Rising fans, this is Discount Tire, your hometown tire retailer and trusted partner on the road for over 65 years. We know it can be overwhelming when buying tires, but we're here to help. Our online tire buying guide, Treadwell, makes finding the right tires simple. Just plug in your vehicle, location, and driving habits, and Treadwell will give you unbiased, personalized recommendations based on your needs, not based on price. Inviting, easy, and safe. Just how tire buying should be. Shop tires with Treadwell at discounttire.com. Let's get you taken care of.
You're listening to the Rising Radio Halftime Report on the Phoenix Rising Radio Network.
Welcome back to the Phoenix Rising Radio Halftime Report on the Phoenix Rising Radio Network. We're here in Austin. Sammy O'Brien, our lovely producer, Kevin Cardaz, is having so much fun tonight. And we're going to take a quick look at the live table here because we talked about in the pregame the stakes. Last week felt like a must-win, and Phoenix couldn't come out with 3 points. So now it really makes it feel like every game, especially tonight and even down the stretch, is going to be a must-win. Taking a look at the live table, if results hold with the other games going on, Phoenix would be out of the playoff picture with 25 points in 9th place, falling behind Colorado Springs and Orange County, as well as Lexington. All 4 of those teams knotted up at 4 points. But Phoenix not owning the head-to-head, already lost the head-to-head with Orange County and Lexington last week. Still have 1 game to go, I believe, next week against Colorado Springs.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the one thing about this bottleneck of a Western Conference right now for the USL Championship is you have to get every point. Every point matters. I mean, I don't know how many times we have seen a 4-way tie right now in the USL Championship. I mean, that's just stunning as is. And Lexington, again, they were one of the teams that we marked going into this game that if they get 3 points, they could be the team that pushes Phoenix Rising out of the playoff picture, win or draw, or rather a loss or draw for Phoenix. And again, it seems like that's the case right now for Lexington, up 1-0 on the road at San Antonio. 69th minute that game is in right now. So Phoenix Rising has a little bit more time to potentially try to get something back in their favor. Again, if they hold on for a point, it's not bad, but it shows you that points are not enough in this situation. You need wins to try to make yourself a presence, make yourself a factor going forward in this type playoff race.
And it's funny you say that. Again, it's really not bad if they walk away with a point. They still, if these results hold, they still would be just 3 points away from that 4th place spot and right around that home playoff game, which is, it's still so hectic. It really just feels like in this Western Conference, it's Tulsa at 39 points and everybody else.
It's just crazy overall, and again, you're starting to see some separation, but again, even Sacramento Republic and El Paso Locomotive, both of them at 30 points. Sacramento in front in 2nd, El Paso at 3rd, and then San Antonio just 2 points behind in 4th. New Mexico 2 points behind that in 5th. So starting to separate out a little bit, yes, Tulsa obviously, but you know, this is still very tight. And Phoenix Rising, as we saw in late May and early June, if they can get a stretch going of maybe 3 to 4 matches where they're getting mostly wins, that can turn things around for them and really bolster their chances of making the playoffs.
We'll take a look at the live scoreboard real quick. El Paso and Monterey. El Paso leads at 1-2-1. They're in the 76th minute. New Mexico and Las Vegas in the 73rd, knotted up at 1 apiece. New Mexico picked up a red card just recently in the 66th minute. San Antonio trailing Lexington 1-0, as you just said, me here in the 70th. And Colorado Springs and Orange County just got underway in the second half, scoreless as well.
I mean, it's just so interesting to see. But I think the other thing worth noting with that New Mexico game is that if New Mexico United does concede and lose what is a 1-1 tie right now with Las Vegas in the 74th minute, it would be a 5-way tie in the Western Conference, which would help out Phoenix Rising a little bit, knowing that they did beat New Mexico United on the road earlier this season. But then again, it shows you that you can't really trust the head-to-head process overall. This is a very tight-knit group, and very tight down the stretch.
Yeah, and going all the way back to that New Mexico game, coming into that game, Phoenix with the rough start like one of a historically bad start. That was a must-win game. They came out there, they won that game, they went on a run. It feels like that's kind of the opportunity they're in right now. It's a must-win game, and it's time to go on a run. That summer window is closing. This is essentially the last game of that summer window before you come with all the fall home games, 7 home games, 3 on the road. And the opportunity is now as we get underway in the second half. Sacco goes back for Akello, now out wide. For the 18-year-old Pierce Rizzo. So all white left arm sleeve tonight. Short socks. Now they'll work through a Senge. And now Daniel Flores out wide. Darius Johnson in a one-on-one situation on the far side. Johnson dancing, working his way down towards the 18-yard box, and that one's poked away. It'll be a Phoenix corner kick. Hope Avievu to take.
And very similar to what we were talking about at halftime, Daniel Flores is coming out and really pushing the pace forward, almost running in stride, if you will, with a guy like Johnson who just taps it out just like that. Within a minute of the second half, Phoenix Rising has established themselves in set-piece territory.
Avievu taking his time, trying to get the ball lined up perfectly. 2 arms to the sky in the 47th minute. Still taking his time adjusting the ball. The Ghana native leads the team in goal contribution this season. Here's a low cross. Poked out and working down that far touchline. Avievu isn't able to track it down.
Seen a lot of services on this set piece just go towards the front post. They've been low and they've been relatively weak. Avievu with another service there. And again, Phoenix Rising has to reset.
Here comes Phoenix now. A good pass from Avievu. Damian Rivera with a shot, and it's deflected away, out of play. For a rising throw, Johnson will take it quick. That was a good pass from Avievu, finding the right lane for Rivera and giving Rivera space.
And again, he was just waiting for that right moment to take a shot, and it just didn't happen. Worth a chance, though. I will say, I think he could have pulled the trigger maybe 2 to 3 seconds before he actually did, but it was overall a really good chance, and really impressed with how Rising has approached the second half.
You can almost say good offense, but better defense. Looks like Forrest Lasso was able to get a leg out there on the slide. As Phoenix now retaining possession, have worked it all the way back to that back line. Now they go long from a Senge. Not really sure who that one was targeted for. Darius Johnson was the closest man, but at least 12 yards too far. As Bandre will track it. And now with a right boot atop the ball, directing traffic. In the 49th minute, still scoreless from St. Pete. Allen Lang Stadium here, a gorgeous one right there out on the bay.
Not a bad place to be overall. Used to be a spring training stadium back in the day.
Bandre will send this one long. So it'll be a contest for a couple heads. Last touch seems to be by JP Skiers in Phoenix. It'll be Nick Moon to take the throw for Tampa. He'll work it all the way back to the back line, as both teams have seemed to do so countless times tonight. A lot of simple, easy passes, something we didn't see from Phoenix last week as well. Phoenix passing percentage at 94.5% tonight. Really careful with the ball, but also very low-risk passes.
Seems like Rising wants to dictate the pace and have more control over this game.
Phoenix gets it back. Darius Johnson with the ball. Pressured on towards the right corner. It'll be knocked off last touch by Guillen, the captain. It'll be a Phoenix corner. Their second one in just a few minutes in this early second half, 50th minute. Hope Kodza Avievu going to take it. It'll be the fourth corner one tonight for Phoenix. Tampa Bay with 3. Can this be the sequence where Phoenix strings something together? A corner high towards the back post, headed away only as far as Asela Senge. Senge swings it all the way back to the near side for Avievu. Takes a funky bounce and Avievu can't get a leg to it. Tampa Bay will get a throw.
Just seems like something's missing overall. It's been the telltale sign of this game that even though Rising is protruding into the attacking third and getting these different corner kicks, they just haven't been able to sting the back of the net. It feels like a chance could be knocking for Phoenix Rising at some point, but I think they need to do a little bit of a better job in these corner kicks, maybe draw something up from the training pitch.
Guillen's throw over to Bandry. Bandry's pass out wide, intercepted at the top of the box. Here comes Rivera. As Moon makes a good tackle and knocks it out of play. Another corner kick coming up from Phoenix. Kids, this finally the sequence of events they can string together. Third corner kick in as many minutes. Saw a couple of low corners. That one from Avievu was better, had a little bit more air to it, got towards that area of the back post. Looking for the main targets they have all season. You finally have the target, self-proclaimed JP Skiersback, as well as 6'5" Noble Okello, easily the tallest player out on the pitch tonight. Avievu, a low one. Okello darting towards the front post, can't even get there. Knocked all the way back for Daniel Flores around the center of the pitch, and Flores will work it even more back to the top of the 18-yard box, and Patrick Rakovsky. Rakovsky sends it long, headed down, possession retained by Tampa Bay. A good tackle. Here comes Hope Avievu in Phoenix. Avievu looking for the run of Darius Johnson, and a touch and cleared away. Another corner kick for Phoenix, and that, again, now it feels like we said it a couple times, the best chance for Phoenix tonight. Just a half step off. Johnson nearly had it. Great tackle by Damian Rivera as Hope Avievu was able to set that one up. Even got it through the legs of Guillen.
Again, brilliant passing, a brilliant dribble too by Hope as well, going 20-25 yards. That's something that I talked about pregame, that he needs to be able to bring the midfield line up, and he did so there.
Avievu on the near side. Phoenix working from left to right on your radio dial to take this kick. This one sailing high. Not as high as he would have liked towards that short post. Headed away by Forrest Lasso, only as far as Pierce Rizzo. Now to Daniel Flores and Asela Senge. Phoenix kind of working a back three with Rizzo, Flores, and Senge right now. Letting Carl Fred Saint, naturally more of a midfielder, getting to work up on that attacking side. Tampa Bay now with possession. Lasso with the ball in his own 18-yard box. Phoenix backing off the pressure a little bit now. Now Guillen, the captain tonight for Rowdies. Guillen spreads it out wide. Castellanos now to Moon. Moon pressured well. Good tackle by Phoenix. Whistle and a foul. Damian Rivera with almost a near identical tackle to work back in Phoenix's favor. Doesn't get so lucky with the whistle that time. A lot of contact, a lot of Phoenix players surrounding the ball there.
A lot of physicality too from Rivera. It seemed like a tackle from far away and a ruling in favor of Tampa. Again, Phoenix Rising used to physicality overall. Pierce Rizzo with tape on his left arm today. You know, the wingbacks today and the wings in general for Rising have been really trying to tough it out.
Yeah, couldn't tell from the angles we saw previously. I thought more it was just a just a compression sleeve, just a little bit of drip for the youngster, but definitely more of a Ryan Flood-esque cask, almost more of just a club. Could almost use that in his favor as here comes Pierce Rizzo on a dribble, gets launched into the air, getting rid of that one. Now here comes Avievu with a dribble on the left side, out wide. Damian Tico Rivera. Rivera dribbling, nearly lost it, has to pass it back. Now here comes a cross into the box, and Sacco nearly got a boot to it. Maybe he did, deflected, and it'll roll all the way out of play.
It just seems like this window is just getting brighter and brighter for Phoenix, Sammy. That's a good ball in by Flores. Might have been deflected, but Sacco almost had a chance from 6 yards out.
Daniel Flores, one of the really bright spots today, sticking out for Phoenix, making plays, really getting that offensive attack going, and that was a near perfect cross. As we said, but it also feels like, Mihir, a lot of these Phoenix chances, especially these crosses, are coming out of almost nothing. Tampa Bay with a throw deep in their own side as they're going to get a throw. Looking for Pacious. He's going to let it roll. As it looks like Moon is going to track it down, will be poked away. But it looks like JP Skierson company for another Tampa throw. Now near the center of the pitch. Bodily takes it as Tampa works back as well. Now they're going to send one long, and it's way too strong. Asenge will watch it. He'll push it forward. Push it backwards for Rakowski. Now to Rizzo, pressured by Bodily as he deflects it out. But it'll go over the back line for a Phoenix goal kick.
Rare moment here for Tampa, their first of the second half, and it shows how much Phoenix Rising has really bought into possession. Over 64% in the first half, 67% overall, 69% in this second half. So it's been Phoenix Rising's show so far, but they have to be able to take this window and really control it. They had some really good chances. How do they build from here?
Here comes Phoenix. Good ball for Rivera down the left side, breaking that attacking third. Now Damian Rivera into the 18-yard box. Up top, Hope Avievu thought about a shot. Now here's a shot, and it sails high over the crossbar. Again, that chance me here felt very quick. Felt like Avievu had a little bit more space in front of him maybe than he thought he did, as that shot sailed way high and didn't really have a chance at all.
Also an interesting chance too, because Avievu was calling for that ball very early before he eventually got to it. Rising just a little bit of a half step behind what they should be doing to be at maximum potential.
Phoenix gets it back, wins it in the air off the goal kick. Working it back once more, Carl Fred Saint around the center of the park. Saint now to Akello. Akello nods it along for Pierce Rizzo. Rizzo with a good move to make a defender miss. And Akello will send it right back to Rizzo. Now to Sacco, to Akello. Akello, a poor pass, deflected straight up in the air. Guillen heads it along, now taken back, Pierce Rizzo. Rizzo getting hounded right now, and Pierce Rizzo will draw a foul, and a car comes out of the pocket very quickly. That one will go against Ollie Bassett. Pierce Rizzo's been getting roughed up a little bit in this second half. That's the second time he's been flung to the ground.
He's definitely been playing higher up, and Bassett, a guy who started at this left forward position going into today, playing back in that situation. Similar to Isan Nino Sacco being called for a foul in a similar way, just scratching the back, if you will, of his opposition. Similar situation with Bassett and Rizzo here.
Now into the 59th minute, as Sharp came in and replaced Azakar just a moment ago. Sacco wins it back for Phoenix. Phoenix in the attacking half, now Rivera. Excuse me, that's Skierce. JP Skierce working. Darius Johnson now to Isan Sacco in the box, back over Darius Johnson! And it gets lost in a heap of bodies inside the 6-yard box. Hope Avievu was there. Couldn't punch it home.
these chances are just getting better for Rising, but great interplay between Johnson and Sacco. And again, Hope Avayevu had the chance, just couldn't square. It was a little bit right of the near side goalpost and just couldn't steer it on target.
Yeah, it appears as if Hope Avayevu wasn't even sure if he was going to be able to get a touch, so didn't seem to line it up quite in the direction he would have liked. Again, Phoenix still slowly stringing it together here, slowly knocking on the door. Feels as if eventually it will break. Now here comes Tampa the other way. Bassett with a shot, and it sails just high over the crossbar. That one from about 22 yards out nearly broke the tie.
And that shows you what Tampa is capable of. Bassett just goes off the half turn, going away from Okello, and nobody pressures back, but Saints has a defender close by to him, and Bassett again pulls the trigger, just can't find the back of the net, but a great chance nonetheless.
Yeah, Ollie Bassett definitely seemed like he was playing a little bit upset, a little bit extra motivated after losing that duel with Pierce Rizzo. Here comes Phoenix the other way now. Avayevu up the middle of the pitch. Sacco out wide for Darius Johnson. Here comes Johnson into the middle of the box. Guillen with a good touch, and it's going to roll out of play.
Johnson again goes on the attack. He had Avayevu right in the middle and just couldn't find the back of the net. We were talking about Sacco earlier. He was the one that played the ball through towards Johnson, almost a false nine, if you will. Good clear away by Forrest Lasso. Otherwise, who knows? It could have been 1-0 Phoenix.
That was a good touch by Guillen too, excuse me. Went right back off the shin of Darius Johnson for a Tampa Bay goal kick. Here they come the other way. With the ball now inching towards that attacking third. Now they'll work back Castellanos. Over to Lasso. Now working all the way back for Ethan Bandre. Castellanos. Now working with Lasso. Lasso sending a line-breaking ball over for Bassett. Too strong. Phoenix retaining possession. Can they push together a counter-attack? Sacco going on the run. They don't go with him. They go for Johnson out wide instead. Darius Johnson into the 18-yard box. Darius Johnson with a cross. It's poked away. Bodily comes up with it. Bodily with a long dribble trying to build a counterattack. Bodily into Phoenix's half, inching toward the attacking third. Now out wide for Pasillas. Pasillas, Phoenix does a good job of getting back. Pasillas is going to have to work the other way. Lasso. Now with Van Kazeel. Now out wide, Bassett. Bassett on the near side, closely guarded by Johnson. Now back into the middle. Crisosimo. Crisosimo to Lasso. Now out wide, Moon. Moon's pass is deflected away by Skierce. Now a poor pass right back to Moon. Now with Tampa Bay's back line and Forrest Lasso. The veteran defender. Now to the captain, Guillen. Guillen pressured now by Darius Johnson and Phoenix, showing a bit of that press as they're going to try and send one long on the right side, and it's going to be just too strong. Rakowski's going to come up with it. Moon had the run, just a pace or two behind it. There's now a man down for Phoenix atop the 18-yard box. Appears to be the new man on the block, Daniel Flores. Maybe just a bit of heat fatigue or exhaustion. Looks like he just kind of took a seat on the pitch. It's Pa Moduka giving instruction on the sideline with a nearly full-size sweat towel. Very passionate over in front of that Phoenix bench.
Human night. It's always a human night in Florida, right?
Yeah, definitely. As that'll officially work us in to a hydration break in the 65th minute, still knotted up at 0-0. Both teams will be able to get a quick water break and some instruction, a nice free timeout. Paul Modoka giving instruction to, appears to be Ryan Flood, who has his training penny off. Looks like he might be coming into the game.
It's always interesting when you have a new signing like Flores. You're trying to acclimate him to the roster overall, and again, he really good shift today. Just will be interesting to see if he can continue on. If not, you have options like Flood, like Quaisho, who have seen multiple minutes this year. So that's the one thing that works well for this Pamadou Ka side, is even with the humidity, even with the heat, even with the struggle that it is playing in St. Petersburg, Florida at this time of year, Phoenix Rising can still go through and trust their depth.
It looks like Charlie Dennis will come into the game for Phoenix as well. Native of Brighton, England. Really had a heck of a month back in July. A couple big moments for him, big games against Texoma and the Jägermeister Cup in a game that starred him, but that game was drunk, if you could say, hence the name, the Jägermeister Cup. He also had a screamer against El Paso and was the hero against his former team in Oakland on the road. Luis Alvarez comes into the game for Tampa Bay. So does Joey Skinner. So a couple reinforcements on both sides, looking for maybe a couple sets of fresh legs. Maybe they can break up the monotony. It's Phoenix on the restarts. Here comes Pierce Rizzo with a dribble up through open space, nearing that attacking third. His pass is deflected. It's going to go right to the boots of Darius Johnson. Now right back, Pierce Rizzo on the near side. Rizzo, Charlie Dennis gets his first touch of the evening. Carl Fred Saint now outright. Ryan Flood has come into the game for Daniel Flores as well. Gives it up, Damian Rivera shakes off a man. Damian Rivera into the box. Now over to Hope Avievu, top of the box. JP Skierce deflected away off the head of a defender. Good tackle by Skierce. Now here comes Pierce Rizzo with a shot. Too strong. Sailed high, high over the metal post. Sacco applauding Pierce Rizzo. He likes what he sees. Another chance for Phoenix, but another not so great outcome, not so great shot. Still not a shot on target for either side.
It's just so close, but if you're Pamadou Ka, you look at these chances outside the box and you wonder, how can you get closer? How can you become a little bit more troubling? And yes, we've seen a lot of that in the second half from Phoenix, who has been, in my opinion, the better team, but it just seems, again, like you said, monotonous at times, because Phoenix Rising is just getting towards the edge of the box and trying to shoot it from there. Try to get closer, try to get those more direct chances. Help yourself out.
Phoenix now with 5 shots to Tampa Bay's 4, as Rubens Pasillas was fouled right around the center pitch, as they will set up a free kick taken by Guillen. A couple substitutions. Skinner came in for Van Casil, and Alvarez came in for Bassett, as well as Ryan Flood obviously replaced Daniel Flores, as there's a shot into the box, deflected away. Good save by Rakowski and company. It'll be a corner kick for Tampa Bay.
And another quick chance by the Rowdies, just inches away from troubling Rakowski in net. Again, a good long ball over the top. And Skinner, you want to make an immediate impact in the game. He almost did, crashing in towards a 6. It's even better play by Acela Senge, getting to the ball before his goalkeeper did to send it out.
Corner kick on the near side for Rowdies. Mohammed Hassan, the official, is breaking up some little bit of pushing and shoving inside the 18-yard box. 2 arms of the sky. A low sailing corner is deflected right back out. As Damian Rivera with a good touch, and here comes Phoenix on the counter. Charlie Dennis leading the way. Now for Isan Nino Sacco. A poor touch, more out wide. Sacco, double team. Sacco shakes free. Now taken to ground. No whistle, it'll be a throw for Phoenix.
And another counterattack by Phoenix, starting to embrace it, starting to implement themselves into the attacking third. They've been camping out at times, close towards the box in the 18 extended. They're doing a really good job with possession when it matters.
Phoenix resumes off the throw. Charlie Dennis. Ushering forward is Pierce Rizzo. Now back for Dennis. And to Acela Senge. Now Carl Fred Saint. Out wide, Ryan Flood using his left foot. Gives it to Rivera. Back for Saint. Now to Dennis in the middle. Charlie Dennis came on to replace Noble Okello a couple minutes ago. Here is JP Skierce out wide on the near side for Darius Johnson, the Grenada international. Johnson. Back up to Skierce. Skierce, a curving ball into the box, looking for Sacco, headed away. Only as far as JP Skierce. Now back for Darius Johnson, just to the right of that 18-yard box. Gives it to Avievu, playing a little two-man with Johnson. Now back up, Pierce Rizzo. Phoenix is going to work back again, now switch sides. Saint. For Flood. Flood doesn't like what he sees. Saint. Now Skierce right back to Saint. Saint and Skierce trying to sort things out. Now Charlie Dennis moving it forward. Charlie Dennis with a dribble. His cross is deflected up into the air. Cassiano sails it high into the night sky. Deflected down, possession one by Dennis and Phoenix. Now here comes Phoenix. Damian Rivera with a shot, and it sails high. Might have been deflected. Should be a Phoenix corner.
A good try, though, by Rivera. Again, playing it off, and again, we talk about it. I think it was actually Sacco who took that chance. Might have got a lucky deflection sliding down there. Tampa going all out on defense. Feels like every shot Phoenix Rising has put up at this edge of the box, some Tampa defenders just sprawled out in defense. Sometimes that can be risky, but when you make contact with the ball, it's all worth it.
Here's a corner taken by Charlie Dennis's left foot, deflected out. Pierce Rizzo at the top of the box. Here's a touch. Rizzo can't find anything. Spin move. Pierce Rizzo! My goodness, Pierce Rizzo breaks up the monotony. The 18-year-old with his first professional goal. Phoenix leads in the 73rd.
Well, those outside of the box shots were worth it, Sammy. Rizzo could have taken some angle on this. He was looking for his right foot and decided to strike it on his left. That's just brilliant. Every youth product should be watching this clip and should be seeing how Rizzo uses his space, takes the ball, and shoots it in the back of the net. His weak foot, yes, but he uses it to his advantage. Good power, good precision. Phoenix up 1-0.
The 18-year-old kid, UC Irvine commit, playing out of position with his weak foot with a stellar play as his teammates rally on behind him, and Bandre can't believe it. Phoenix atop in the Sunshine State. Pierce Rizzo officially becomes the youngest goal scorer in Phoenix Rising history.
This is just a breath of fresh air for Phoenix Rising overall. Again, a team that it felt like was just trying to weather the storm at times in the first half. And ever since the second half, Pamadou Kaz told his guys to go forward. They've been really extending this window of them going into the attacking third and putting it in the back of the net. It turned into a matter of if not when, and when happened just a few moments ago.
Tampa with possession now, inching towards that attacking third. It's Alvarez now out wide. Here comes a cross into the box, and it's in! And just like that, Tampa Bay has even this at 1 apiece. It was none other than former Phoenix Rising man Manuel Arteaga. And we're level at 1-1 in the 75th.
It's the trouble of momentum. And Arteaga freshly checked into this match. Just get a touch to this. Again, Alvarez, another sub for Rowdies, playing the ball over. Skinner lofting it in. It was all substitute action from Tampa Bay. That's some good work by Dominic Casiato to try to bring in some impact players. You get the second assist, the first assist, and then Arteaga rising up to knot it down into the right corner of the net, lower right corner of the net. Sublime, a usual striker's finish. Just like that, it can change in a moment, and we're tied.
It's something we talked about all year long. We hear the scoring cool down in soccer, something that's been studied on, something we've harped upon so much, and right there it comes back to bite Phoenix. Skinner gets credited with the assist. This game's leveled by a former teammate, and a familiar face at 38th and Washington. Phoenix starts up again on the restart. Remy Cabral checks into the game for Damian Rivera, as well as Fernandez comes on for Moon. And Arteaga had just come onto the pitch for Pasillas. Here comes Tampa again. Arteaga into the box. Here comes a shot, and it sails high and wide out of the park. Phoenix catches a break. Alvarez got a boot to it last. He feels like he could have had that one back.
Decent chance there by Alvarez. Again, ball falling at his feet, just has to simply touch it into the back of the net, although doing it from 15 yards out. More importantly, Sammy, Tampa Bay starting to grab some possession. It's starting to become their window, and Phoenix Rising, already conceding once, has to refocus and try to get something forward, trying to quell this attack from the home side Rowdies.
Here comes Phoenix the other way. Charlie Dennis with the ball gives it up to Avievu. Now to the goal scorer, youngest goal scorer in club history, Pierce Rizzo. Rizzo works back with the Senge, 78th minute, approaching the 79th. They give that up. Cabral gets his first touch, now back out. Rizzo doesn't like what he sees, gives it up for Skiers. Now to Asenge. Asenge sending one forward, a ball. Sacco gets a touch to it. Isanino Sacco, top of the box, looking for Cabral. Poked away by Tampa. Tampa tries a long ball to absolutely nobody other than a couple Rising players. Now here they come the other way again. Sacco for Cabral, a touch. Here comes Sacco! And it's just off target. Sacco got tripped up as well in the box. It'll be a point to the corner flag and a Phoenix corner in the 79th.
But that's a good response by Phoenix Rising. Good interplay between Rivera and Sacco. Sacco almost running into Dennis on that play, but was just able to get through. Almost got a shot to it. It was a good poke away by the Rowdies.
Phoenix now with 7 shots on the night to Tampa Bay 6. Tiaga receiving some medical tape from the sideline, and it looks like they ruled that a goal kick, even though the replay clearly showed that it was poked away by Tampa Bay. Phoenix almost instantly gains back possession, however. Now Saint. Center of Phoenix's half. Now up towards the midfield for Cabral. Cabral shoots one into the night sky, looking for the run of Darius Johnson, I believe, but that one went to probably the 15th row on what used to be the third base line of this ballpark, now converted soccer pitch. Lasso working it back with Castellanos. Castellanos sends a long ball high into the night sky. Headed away by Flood, tracked down by Dennis. Dennis pokes it along. Sacco gets ahead to it. Only the Tampa Bay players. Back for Bandry. Bandry sends one long. Phoenix wins it down. Tampa wanted a handball. They're not going to get it. Here comes Charlie Dennis with a good through ball for Avievu. Avievu in space. Up for Remy Cabral! And a good save. Bandry with a good dive to his right. Got 2 mitts to it. Keeps this one level at 1-1 as we're now into the 82nd.
Very direct play by Phoenix Rising, but even better save by Bandre. First real test of the day that he got at the end of the ball, fingertips if you will. Crucial stop for the Rowdies goalkeeper.
Good to see Remy Cabral making an immediate impact after that short 10-minute stint last week in Lexington. One of the more prominent scorers this season for Phoenix before he was injured. Here's Rizzo now in his own half. Gives it up, Avievu. Pushes it right back to Rizzo. Now sends it back for Asenge. Over for Saint. Now Ryan Flood all the way on the far side. Flood to Skiers. Skiers coming down that far side. Skiers sends one across the park for Darius Johnson. Can he track it down? He can. Over by that near side corner flag. Darius Johnson, Hope Avievu. Avievu with a cross towards the back post. It's too strong. Looking for Nino Sacco, couldn't get it there. It'll roll out for a Rowdies throw.
Even with Cabral checking in, Sammy, Nino's still playing in relatively a striker's role. He's still the target in a lot of these set pieces, or essentially what could be the final passes for Phoenix. Doing a really good job in continuing to play his lines, essentially playing a second striker to Remy, who's starting to heat up in this match as well.
Tampa holding possession, now working into the attacking half towards that attacking third. Forward pass, Phoenix recovers it. Sacco sends it back. Now Ryan Flood. Flood trying to advance the ball. He does. Good pass. It tripped. Looks like it was Cabral. Had a good touch to it, trying to go around the defender. Maybe slipped a little bit too. It was a wet one night. This game delayed 35 minutes at kickoff due to lightning in the nearby area. A nationally televised game for the USL Championship on ESPN2 The Deuce. Here comes Tampa Bay now. Almost near that attacking third, poked away by Skiers. Over to Rizzo. Rizzo crosses his back. Saint all the way out on the far side. Ryan Flood. Flood, Sacco. Looks like Sacco's been more on that left wing side. Flood with a cross. It's too strong, looking for Cabral. Poked right back out. Ryan Flood can't come up with it. Sacco with a good tackle. No whistle, says play on. Skiers nearly with a run for Sacco. Claimed by Tampa Bay. Now it looks like Avievu can win it back, and he does. Trying to get it for Cabral. Avievu trying to chip it forward for Darius Johnson. Finds the body of a Rowdy defender once again. Seems like they've had an answer for everything Phoenix has tried these last couple minutes. But here they come again. Charlie Dennis slows it down back for JP Skeers. Now pushes forward. Ryan Flood still on that far side. Phoenix working left to right into the 85th. Pushing towards that 86th minute. Can somebody find an answer? Can somebody break the tie? Pierce Rizzo did it for all of 90 seconds. Became the youngest goal scorer in club history before Manuel Arteaga said not so fast and found one of his own. Here's a cross attempt from Flood off the head of a defender. Goes 25 feet into the sky, and then he commits a foul. Rowdies will get a free kick about 15 yards outside of their own 18-yard box.
Phoenix Rising continuing to try to find some momentum, even after that Arteaga goal where they were kind of surprised at times. They're not letting Tampa continuing to build. The problem is, though, they need to find something, especially knowing the grit that they went through in that first half. It would feel a little rough if they exited Tampa with just a point.
Poor pass by Tampa, picked up by Sacco. Here comes Phoenix. Sacco out wide. Dennis is shot into the box, deflected. Tampa once again an answer. Every ball seeming to just find a body. It was Lasso that time who got a knee to it to force it out for a Phoenix corner.
Good delivery overall by Dennis, just couldn't find the option.
Here comes a cross sailing into the box, kind of on that short post. Headed away by Castellanos. Avievu tracks it down. Avievu pushing it forward. Charlie Dennis on that far side, now to Ryan Flood. Ryan Flood sending it into the box. Sacco gets a boot to it, pops it straight up into the sky. And Bandry runs forward and snags it. 87th minute. Bodily with it, dribbling into the attacking half. Now sends it back for Lasso. Now over on the right side, Skinner. Now for Alvarez. Alvarez working on that far right side, moving from right to left. Tampa working it back once more as Skinner trying to sending a ball through the middle. He gets it there. Here comes Tampa. A ball sent in towards the center of the box, headed away by Carl Saint. It'll be a Tampa corner in the 88th.
A lot of space for Tampa open on that far side to really get across, and it wasn't surprised that they did try to track in and maybe get a cross or a shot closer towards the box. And again, Phoenix Rising caught lacking in these defensive moments, just trying to wade this one through in the 88th minute.
Crucial moment for Phoenix. On the set piece, two hands to the sky, cross scorching high, headed away by Flood. Here comes Remy Cabral on the counter. Remy Cabral out in space, 2-on-3, sending a ball through, out for Darius Johnson. Johnson working his way towards the box, trying to make a move. Darius Johnson gets around a defender, he trips. Is there a point to the spot? Doesn't look like it. Darius Johnson wanted one. Mohamed Hassan shakes his head no.
Close chance though for Johnson. Almost got it, but it felt like he was losing his balance even before the challenge coming into the box from Lasso and many others. Seemed like he was grappling with one Rowdies defender, then Lasso came and cleared the ball out right where Johnson was lying down on the ground. Either way, Johnson's just been trying to find that one moment. Feels like he's been all over the pitch in the second half. So many different options for this Phoenix side. And again, Remy Cabral too providing a good counterattack.
So since Lasso cleared that one away, it'll be a corner kick for Phoenix in the 90th as Dariusz Formella is going to come in last moment for a set of fresh legs and maybe a final push forward for Phoenix. looking for those 3 points they need oh so badly. Charlie Dennis, the right hand to the sky. Using his left boot, Dennis sends this one high, curving into the center of the box. Nobody's there. It's going to bounce out for Pierce Rizzo. Pierce Rizzo with another shot. Not enough on it. Sails just a little bit too high. Xion Emers has also come onto the pitch for Hope Avayevu. And Formella came on to replace Isan Nino Sako.
Different moments here for Phoenix Rising as things are starting to get chippy here.
As Remy Cabral just laid out a Rowdy's player as we have gone into the 90th minute now. As we'll see for stoppage time, things are getting scrappy. Not fully sure what happened. Remy Cabral will receive only a yellow. That was quite a shove. He might be lucky to still be on the pitch.
I agree with you too, Sammy. Cabral came in from behind, two-handed shove. Very unnecessary too, close towards descent. I'm also a little surprised as well that was not a red card.
Looks like Guillen got in the face of Xion Emers after that play, and Remy Cabral kind of came in defending his man. Was the two-hand full extension shove warranted? I don't know.
Seemed like Guillen was also trying to sell it a little bit, seeing Cabral in the moment and maybe going down to ground, drawing contact.
So Cabral goes into the book. We're into the 92nd minute now. Now we find out 5 minutes of stoppage time. We'll play easily into the 97th, if not the 98th after that stoppage. That's Cabral's second yellow card on the year. As here comes Tampa Bay. This one's headed along towards the back line. Played very closely. Pierce Rizzo, great defending to poke it out. Pierce Rizzo with one of his best showings so far as a member of the Rising First Team. Bodily to take the throw. Alvarez gives it right back to Bodily. Now headed along. Defended well by Dennis. Poked away by Cabral. Right back to Guillen. Guillen, Bodily, sends this one up into the box. It's deflected. Alvarez nearly had a shot. Still loose. And another shot sails wide. Dangerous opportunities. Charlie Sharp nearly sent that one home and gave Tampa Bay the lead.
And it's just failure by Phoenix to clear the ball. Alvarez with a good chance, and then Sharp off the half turn, something that he loves to do, just couldn't steer it in the back of the net. Lucky deflection by Phoenix.
Into the 93rd now. Lasso, take the corner kick. Excuse me, not Lasso. Here comes the corner, sailing high towards the back post for Tampa. And a header, and it's going to be just wide off the outside of the net. Looks like either Lasso or Castellanos got a head to it.
Again, decent marking by Saint, who was right near Lasso, and Lasso just able to redirect. Saint is body facing Lasso, unable to read the ball in that moment.
Here comes Pierce Rizzo now off the goal kick. Gives it into the center of the park. Charlie Dennis switching sides out wide. It's Ryan Flood. Flood gives it up for Mella. Now back inside Dennis, poking it forward off the feet of a Rowdy player, headed away out on that far sideline. For a rising throw, they'll go quick. Emers throws it in. Xion Emers with his first extended touch of the game, trying to get it back in. Now gives it to Flood. Now to Dennis, trying to send it back in. Excuse me, that was Formella. He trips, cleared away. Phoenix got a quick throw right in front of their bench. Here comes Phoenix down the far touchline. Now over to Dennis. Charlie Dennis trying to make a bit of magic happen. He's tripped up just outside the 18-yard box. It'll be a free kick for Phoenix in a dangerous spot on that far side corner of the 18-yard box, just 19 yards away from the mouth of the net. Could this be the opportunity for Phoenix? And you have to assume here Charlie Dennis, the man who has proven time and time again on these free kicks, will take this one.
Yeah, again, a guy that's dribbled his way through. He's trying to set the pace, trying to set the tone against his former team, trying to find some sort of magic. And again, similar to Rising today, he's been chipping away at this Tampa Bay defense. This could be interesting, and again, this could be Dennis's shot. It's not exactly left of center. It's very close to the far side, so this could be an indirect free kick. Very interesting spot for an indirect free kick, but Dennis with his left foot could be able to send this one indirect.
As we now have played our way into the 96th minute, somebody was assessed a yellow card as well. It was Arteaga for Tampa Bay. He'll go into the book. That's his 5th yellow card on the year. Charlie Dennis, as expected, to take this free kick. Charlie Dennis, it's off the head, and it's popped up into the air. It's still free, and it'll be a goal kick for Tampa Bay. Dennis's initial hit was deflected off the head of a defender very quickly, but I believe because of the angle, Bandry was not able to get to it immediately, and it took a bounce, and there was a second where it felt like everyone held their breath.
That's a weird moment, nervy for Bandry in goal. Felt like for a split second he might have lost it, but luckily his defenders were there, and Rising was unable to get a good piece of the ball.
Now into the 97th as Bandry sends this one long. Phoenix is going to win it. Here comes Xian Emmers. Here's a good through ball for Remy Cabral. Can he track it down? He can. He's going to leave it for Dariush Formella. Formella by the far flag stick. Tries to cross it, deflected straight up into the sky. Alvarez tracks it down, and Alvarez is going to clear it way, way away. Tracked down by Phoenix. Now back over to Rakovsky. He'll pass it back out wide. That's Acela Senge. Now to Flood. Flood over to Dennis. And a whistle. 3 whistles, in fact. And that'll do it as we finish level at 1-1, Phoenix in Tampa Bay. On a hot and humid night in the Sunshine State. Pierce Rizzo, the youngster 18-year-old UC Irvine commit, becomes the youngest scorer in Phoenix Rising club history. Phoenix does not get the 3 points they were looking for, the 3 points they needed, but they do not walk away empty-handed, Mahir.
Yeah, and most definitely it's going to be one of the best players on this pitch, one of the best performances on this pitch tonight. Rizzo was able to take up space. He was able to garner space at times, pressure Tampa, and again, the goal, simply put, great overall. And it was amazing to see the type of presence he had on the pitch, something you want to see as an 18-year-old, making that jump to the next level, getting some chances with your boyhood club. He was able to take the moments that matter, and that by itself should leave Rising a little bit more fortuitous as they head back to Phoenix.
We'll take a quick break here as the Phoenix Rising Radio post-game wrap-up presented by Crown Public House is up next. It's Phoenix Rising 1, Tampa Bay Rowdies 1 in a draw here on the Sunday, late Sunday night here on the Phoenix Rising Radio Network. Stay tuned.
You're listening to Rising Radio, home of the 2023 USL Champions.
Bliss and a burst of red smoke. Phoenix Rising, our home. Welcome to 38th and Washington.
Stick around for more as our broadcast continues.
Join in on the Sports Zoo on your ride home from work with Dave Rooster Bierstein. Join Rooster as he lays down what's happening around sports and makes it clear what's on his mind.
Oh my.
Catch the day's craziest stories and some of the latest numbers from the sports books across the valley. The Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Bierstein.
I think that's kind of a wild option.
Weekdays 5 to 6 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app. Attention all clones. The Jim Rome Show is here for you every day here on KDUS AM 1060.
Lots to get done. Welcome to the program.
Listen in as Rome dives into the biggest sports headlines of the day. From final scores, player contracts and trades, team prospects, and even a spicy take or two. The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. every weekday here on KDUS AM 1060.
That's the trick.
Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app. James Out West, your home for sports down here in the desert. Join James and Pat the Stat Guy as they recap the weekend and dive deep into the numbers for the NFL, NBA, college sports, and more.
That's 5 seasons of 1,200 yards.
Player stats, team numbers, and contracts are just the start of the discussion for James and Pat.
He started 815 career games. He threw 749 complete games.
There's no hiding when it comes to stats. It's James Out West every Monday night from 7 to 8 p.m. right here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app. Each day at work just dragging on. Get your sports fix on the lunch break. Join Chris Schubert and producer Evan live as they give their local perspective on the world of sports. Baseball, football, and basketball. Everything has a home on their plate. It's the lunch break with Chris Schubert, live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060, on the KDUS 1060 app, and KDUS 1060 on YouTube.
Buying a house can seem almost impossible, especially today. But with the right agent in your corner, it makes the challenge seem effortless. Hi, I'm Connor Cochran with Good Oak Real Estate, your go-to agent in the Valley. Whether you're buying, selling, or investing, I'm here to guide you every step of the way. Because finding the perfect home shouldn't be stressful, it should be exciting. Call 480-688-3200 today. Again, that's 480-688-3200. Let's have the conversation.
Hey Phoenix Rising fans, this is Discount Tire, your hometown tire retailer and trusted partner on the road for over 65 years. We know it can be overwhelming when buying tires, but we're here to help. Our online tire buying guide, Treadwell, makes finding the right tires simple. Just plug in your vehicle, location, and driving habits, and Treadwell will give you unbiased, personalized recommendations based on your needs, not based on price. Inviting, easy, and safe. Just how tire buying should be. Shop tires with Treadwell at discounttire.com. Let's get you taken care of.
Time for one last kick of the ball on tonight's match. It's Rising Radio postgame wrap-up on the Phoenix Rising Radio Network.
Welcome back to the Phoenix Rising Radio postgame wrap-up presented by the Crown Public House. Phoenix draw 1-1 with Tampa Bay. Sammy O'Brien, Mahir Sinhasan. And Mahir, a historic night for Phoenix, but still not the outcome they want. Pierce Rizzo, the youngster, 18 years old, puts in a beauty to become the youngest goal scorer in club history, but they do concede just 90 seconds later to none other than former Phoenix Rising man Manuel Arteaga to get just 1 point in a night where they probably should have gotten 3 and really needed 3.
They needed 3 overall, Sammy, and I think the bigger thing that haunts Phoenix in the end is it felt like in the build-up to Rizzo's goal, yes, Phoenix Rising had a really good window, but they were fighting an uphill battle on the road against a Tampa defense that was very good at possessing going into this game. So even though at times, yes, Tampa did struggle with stuff, they are very disciplined wherever they are, defense, midfield, or attack. And the fact that Rizzo's goal happened when it did, it felt like there was a weight lifted off of Phoenix Rising's shoulders. You compare that to Arteaga's goal and you can see why momentum can just be sucked out in an instant. And that's what it felt like in a moment for Tampa's. They were able to really rally in the moment, take the 2-3 chances they had in the second half and turn the match on a dime and basically steal a point from Phoenix Rising, again, who desperately needed it in a Western Conference that continues to be tightly packed as we head into next week.
Yeah, we'll take a quick look at the Western Conference standings, something I know me and you were monitoring very closely throughout the night. And as it stands now, Phoenix drops down a spot, 25 points, 8th place, still in that playoff picture. They now fall behind Lexington. A lot of movement in this Western Conference. New Mexico falls all the way down to 6th place at 26 points. Orange County all the way up to 27 points in 5th place. They've won 3 of their last 4. They are objectively on a tear. Danny Stone, former Rising manager, and his squad have really turned things around. And Tulsa and Sacramento still atop that table. Sacramento now with 33 points, kind of the separation is still slowly but surely growing.
It's slowly but surely growing, but the one thing I'm looking at is 2 and 3. Again, we were talking about Sacramento and San Antonio going into today. San Antonio losing to Lexington SC in San Antonio at home today. Sacramento Republic currently up 2-1 against Oakland Roots SC at home. That match in the 36th minute. If this result holds, Sammy, you got FC Tulsa at the top, 39 points. Sacramento Republic FC in second with 33. That's 5 points ahead of San Antonio, who's currently tied with El Paso Locomotive in that third and fourth spot, respectfully speaking. And after that, it's a 4-point difference between number 3 San Antonio FC and what is now number 9 Colorado Springs Switchbacks FC, who, if I'm not mistaken, lost to Orange County at home today. Head-to-head matchup between Phoenix and Lexington, definitely going in favor of Lexington winning both matchups, including in the Valley and in Bluegrass Country. It's going to come down to head-to-heads. And again, taking a look at this match today, obviously not a direct impact when you take a look at Tampa and Phoenix in different conferences and in different situations as well. Tampa will continue to be well below the Eastern Conference table. In fact, they'll still be in the basement of the Eastern Conference. Phoenix Rising doing a good job to just try to weather this storm. And you wonder if you're Pamaduka, if you can take a little bit of this energy and bring it back home to 38th and Washington. 7 of your last 10 games are there. You need to have the crowd showing out. You need to have your players showing out and making this push as you enter the business stretch of the season. It feels like Phoenix Rising, yes, could have needed 3 points today, should have gotten 3 points today. But boy, a point does help you a little bit in the long run.
Yeah, and the grueling stretch is finally over. That was the summer of 2025 for Phoenix Rising. So many games on the road. 2 road trips of 3 straight games, only broken up by 1 home game, and then this wraps up 2 more on the road as they finally come home to 38th and Washington for 3 straight games. Colorado Springs a week from today, and then El Paso Locomotive on the 30th and Las Vegas Lights. And then you keep going even a week past that, away at Sacramento Republic. That's 4 Western Conference opponents in a row, all right there in the mix. Health is going to be a big thing, and really just getting that chemistry together we talked about briefly at the very start of this game.
And the biggest thing is you take a look at this match tonight and the last 3. You have Orange County, Birmingham, Lexington, and Tampa Bay. All 4 teams going into their respective matches below Phoenix Rising in terms of either points or positioning in their respective conferences. And you take a look at this last stretch now, 2 losses in the last, or rather 2 losses and 2 draws in the past 4 games for Phoenix Rising. And Orange County side losing 4-1 to them, and then losing 2-0 to a Lexington SC side that beat you on home ground. And then again, it felt like they could have picked up 3 points against Birmingham and Tampa. And such the telltale sign of basically all the draws that Phoenix Rising has picked up in this summer window. Away at Colorado Springs, away at FC Tulsa, and then those past 2 games, Birmingham and Tampa, is a Phoenix side that could have closed it out, could have gotten 3 points, which would have been crucial in the West and in their playoff chances, and they just were unable to close it out.
So with that, we'll take a quick break and come back with one more segment here on the Phoenix Rising Radio post-game wrap-up presented by Crown Public House. We'll be back in just a short moment. Stick around.
You're listening to Rising Radio, home of the 2023 USL champions.
Bliss and a burst of red smoke. Phoenix Rising, our home. Welcome to 38th and Washington.
Stick around for more as our broadcast continues.
Join in on the Sports Zoo on your ride home from work with Dave Rooster Bierstein. Join Rooster as he lays down what's happening around sports and makes it clear what's on his mind.
Oh my.
Catch the day's craziest stories and some of the latest numbers from the sports books across the valley. The Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Bierstein.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a wild option.
Weekdays 5 to 6 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app. Attention all clones. The Jim Rome Show is here for you every day here on KDUS AM 1060.
Lots to get done. Welcome to the program.
Listen in as Rome dives into the biggest sports headlines of the day. From final scores, player contracts and trades, team prospects, and even a spicy take or two. The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. every weekday here on KDUS AM 1060.
That's the trick.
Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app. James Out West, your home for sports down here in the desert. Join James and Pat the Stat Guy as they recap the weekend and dive deep into the numbers for the NFL, NBA, college sports, and more.
That's 5 seasons of 1,200 yards.
Player stats, team numbers, and contracts are just the start of the discussion for James and Pat.
He started 815 career games. He threw 749 complete games.
There's no hiding when it comes to stats. It's James Out West every Monday night from 7 to 8 p.m. right here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app. Each day at work just dragging on. Get your sports fix on the lunch break. Join Chris Schubert and producer Evan live as they give their local perspective on the world of sports. Baseball, football, and basketball. Everything has a home on their plate. It's the lunch break with Chris Schubert, live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060, on the KDUS 1060 app, and KDUS 1060 on YouTube.
Buying a house can seem almost impossible, especially today. But with the right agent in your corner, it makes the challenge seem effortless. Hi, I'm Connor Cochran with Good Oak Real Estate, your go-to agent in the Valley. Whether you're buying, selling, or investing, I'm here to guide you every step of the way. Because finding the perfect home shouldn't be stressful, it should be exciting. Call 480-688-3200 today. Again, that's 480-688-3200. Let's have the conversation.
Hey Phoenix Rising fans, this is Discount Tire, your hometown tire retailer and trusted partner on the road for over 65 years. We know it can be overwhelming when buying tires, but we're here to help. Our online tire buying guide, Treadwell, makes finding the right tires simple. Just plug in your vehicle, location, and driving habits, and Treadwell will give you unbiased, personalized recommendations based on your needs, not based on price. Inviting, easy, and safe. Just how tire buying should be. Shop tires with Treadwell at discounttire.com. Let's get you taken care of.
This is the Rising Radio post-game wrap-up on the Phoenix Rising Radio Network.
Welcome back to the Rising Radio post-game wrap-up presented by Crown Public House on the Rising Radio Network on Phoenix Rising social media pages. And we're going to take, before we wrap up here, Mahir, we're going to take a quick look at upcoming game next week, a big game, really a true must-win against Colorado Springs Switchbacks. Because if you look at the table, the teams at Phoenix Rising is surrounded by Orange County and Lexington. They do not own the head-to-head. They previously drew 1-1 with Colorado Springs all the way back on May 3rd. So what do you see from that game, and what do you expect, and what does Phoenix need to do to ensure they get 3 points to get that head-to-head?
I think it's very important for this Rising side to come out firing in all cylinders. I like what they did today, where Johnson, it felt like every time this team wanted an attack in the final third, he was there, and it was just about finding Sacco and Cabral and many of the other players that are on the pitch for Phoenix Rising. I think I'd take a look back at that Colorado Springs Switchbacks FC game, and the one goal scorer for Phoenix Rising, Gerald Margarita, in the 18th minute. Again, a goal for him set the tone for Phoenix Rising before conceding one in the 58th minute to Colorado Springs. It felt like Phoenix Rising got off to a good start in that match. Again, couldn't finish it out, as we talked about before, with multiple road matches, especially ones that end in draws for Phoenix Rising this season. But especially with Gerald back in Belgium now, it's going to feel that they need to find a new person. And Darius Johnson did a very good job today. Again, a guy who's usually played on the left whenever he's come off the bench. He started on the right today, and he looked good at times. It was just about trying to find that finishing product or that final pass that can really trouble the Tampa Bay Rowdies back line. Johnson did really well. Damian Rivera, too, making his first start in nearly 3 months of action. Again, he did pretty well. He could potentially start that left wing position. It was Formella on that day. The midfield, the same as we saw today. Avievu, Skierce, and Akello. Smith, Colin Smith, ended up being the man of the match. So there's so many different pieces with this Phoenix Rising side, and yet the way things change, it also means that Rising can remain the same. If it remains the same, then Rising can really try to push, especially with that home field advantage back at 38th and Washington, starting a homestand. You want to make a message to your fans and, more importantly, to the USL Championship that you're here to play, and more importantly, you're here to move up the table. Not just qualify, get that 8-seeded spot like last year. You want to move up and potentially be in title contention.
Yeah, Rising 2-3-3 at home at 38th and Washington this season. That is not what the fans deserve. That's not how you're going to fill the seats either. So, and that's also something where they can, we talked about it, get 3 points and string something together against all these next 4 games. As we said, Western Conference opponents, they're all going to be massive, massive games.
You know, I think when you take a look at this stretch overall for Phoenix Rising, I'm taking a look at the matches like Sacramento, who I think is basically the 2nd seed right now in the Western Conference based off of the given results today. El Paso, it was within striking distance. Vegas, too, I think very similar to this match and very similar to previous matches. That's a Phoenix Rising opponent where Rising has to come in and take 3 points. That's something that we haven't seen a lot of for Rising. I feel like Phoenix Rising needs to get at least 1 win over these next 3 matches if they need to prove to themselves and to the league that they can really contend against some of the best teams in the league that could have a chance to compete. Again, you don't have to be perfect into the playoffs. You just have to be able to flip that switch once the playoffs start.
Yeah, Phoenix now officially has not picked up 3 points since July 12th when they went to the Coliseum in Oakland with the heroics from Charlie Dennis and company. They took down the Roots in Charlie Dennis's former team as well. So everything leading up to next week as Phoenix finally returns home for the fall slate and some familiarity and some comfort and some stability, really especially some stability in the lineup, hopefully on the way as well. But that's all we have for you folks tonight. So from our fabulous and fantastic producer, had the night of his life tonight, Kevin Cardaz, my amazing analyst Mahir Sinhasan, I'm Sammy O'Brien. We will see you next week as Phoenix Rising hosts the Colorado Springs Switchbacks at 7:30 a week from today. Have a good night, everyone.